Hello, hello, and welcome to Titan Divinity League Quarterfinals. My name is Tokibi, and joining me is Jay Beto, and today we're going to watch the Monkeys Civil War in a fight to get to semifinals. And Jay Beto, what are your thoughts coming into this matchup, and how are you doing in general?
I'm doing good. I love a good civil war, as you elegantly put it. The monkeys taking on the monkeys. I think it's probably going to be all laughs and smiles in the monkeys Discord. I think it's just something that happens. And if you're playing for an org that has more than one team, it's bound to happen at some point. It's unfortunate that it's a quarterfinals for the monkeys, but it's not unfortunate for us and if you're a viewer, because I love these.
Yeah, for sure. Now, just for a little bit of context for these, because these are the quarterfinals, we are now in the playoffs. And Monkey Safari, during the regular season, they did go 6-1. They finished first place in Group A. Monkey's Newsroom, the second team, uh, ended up second place in Group B with a total series score of 5-2. And the game score is only one difference, 13-5 for Safari, 12-6 for Newsroom. And that's basically where we are at now. Monkey's Newsroom also did play in the round of 12 against Zillennials. Went a full 5-game series, but they did manage to come out on top. And because of that, are going to be playing into Monkey's Safari. And I mean, these are two teams that should be pretty close. Typically, teams within organizations know each other quite well. It's not always the case, but a lot of the time, it's easier to set up scrims just because it is the same manager. So I really would not be shocked if these two
Yeah.
teams really knew each other quite well.
I've seen a few players. I believe I casted Newsroom before. Um, Fun team to watch. But yeah, good. Definitely a good thing to mention. You just did about the scrims. I think that when you've got an org with multiple teams, it's kind of a cheat code because you're able to kind of scrim lock other teams if you really want to, and just keep it to yourselves. Especially in this, like in playoffs. I know that the players obviously they want to keep stuff to themselves, but the orgs can just only scrim themselves, and no other teams can get real practice. But these teams, most likely, I would imagine, were scrimming each other for most of the season, definitely the playoffs. But I'm hoping for a fiver. I really am, and I'm very excited for the idea of that happening.
Yeah, and I think that's a big thing because this is a best of five. And again, we all know this is all fearless. And while I'm sure they do scrim each other, I really doubt they scrim best of five blocks. I'm pretty sure they probably just
Hmm.
scrim three blocks. So once we get to games 4 to games 5, that's going to be absolutely new territory for both of these two teams. They don't know what's going to come out there because that's when you start really getting deep into the pool. You're trying to scrape the bottom, get whatever you can off the bottom, but now we're heading into the draft, so no more monkey business as we head into Monkey Safari versus Monkey's New. So I'm sorry, I had to do that.
I think it's a good point though that you bring up just before there. When you're, I mean, even like, are you scrimming fearless? Like most likely yes, but if you want to be practicing one comp, I guess it's like a give and take. Do you practice one idea or a few ideas like multiple times, or get practice in a fearless setting where you simulate a fearless draft, practice? Okay, we've played this; it's gone now. What are we going to answer now? I think it's quite difficult, and I still think that it's newer in the fearless realm of things. I mean, I know there's a lot of discussion after MSI about is fearless the right direction because of how one-sided certain drafts can be. But I guess it's still a discussion we're going to have to continue going with, and it's still fearless for now. Double 80 carry bans for monkeys on blue side, monkeys on red side, banning away some mid laners, Azir, Hui, and this Lilia. In first pick, we're looking at Varus. Oh, never mind, it's a Volibear first pick. I know that these divisions love Volibear.
Yeah, I mean, Volibear does have a decent amount of strength. It very much needs to get going, though. But at the same time, if you look at it kind of as an enabler, trying to get your team ahead earlier on, it is quite effective. As we do see the Varus, as you said earlier, gonna get locked in now for Monkey's Newsroom. Very strong ADC, very popular, and I think this one is pretty popular across all brackets. But the Trundle as a reply. I'm pretty sure Trundle does beat Volibear in the jungle one-on-one, but I mean, with the right 2v2, either of these could definitely start going down.
If you've got a mid laner that can roam and help in that 2v2, makes it even more threatening for the Volibear. Kog'Maw picked up here. I'm a bit surprised to see it this early. I don't think it really loves the Trundle matchup. Mel makes a bit more sense. It's got a ton of range, CC, and lockdown for the Trundle. But yeah, I'm a bit worried that maybe this Kog'Maw gets caught out a little bit, especially because you aren't picking a support that helps the Kog'Maw here. Akali into the Mel. Bit of a hard lane to start with, but can really do work late game. I was talking a bit about just then, Monkey's Newsroom. Yeah, I was going to say you need to ban Braum. Needing a mid laner that can roam and impact the Volibear matchup if you really want to guarantee that the Trundle is going to win. And Akali can do that, but not in the first few levels. Mel's going to push you in, really harm you. So Korra's going to have to play pretty slow, pretty safe. Wait until Kog'Maw is a great target in these team fights. Find a flank. I love these bans from Monkey's Newsroom. Braum is great at the Trundle, really good with Kog'Maw. Lulu is the same thing, polymorph the Trundle, take him down, root him. He's slowed. And Besser and Mordecai is a ban for Monkeys on the blue side here. Makes me think maybe this Volibear might be a top lane Volibear, but could also be the jungle still as Karma. It's going to be Varus Karma. That is a lane that you are guaranteed push in now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very strong bot lane, but one thing I do want to bring up, or never mind, not anymore, but what I wanted to talk about is a potential Mel support. Now, I know typically you want someone that can kind of work with the Kog'Maw, and Renata is definitely going to be a lot better at that. But overall, honestly, Renata's just such a good pick the more I look at it. Those auto attacks are going to be super strong coming out of Trundle. Even Akali hurts to some extent. So that takeover is going to be so powerful. But Tahm Kench in the top lane, that is not something we see often. Not going to get matched into that, but very interesting picks. And this is just game one. So looks like they're keeping a lot of their maybe more meta picks for the rest of the series, because they're really just throwing out a lot, especially on the side of Safari.
In Monkey's Newsroom's comp has a lot more of an identity. I think, you're playing for a pushing bot lane. You're going to have prio the whole time, and I'm worried that the Kog'Maw is not going to have the easiest of time. I imagine this is most likely going to be a poke virus because that's just what's been as popular. Yeah, maybe you want to go towards an on-hit because of Volibear Tahm Kench, but I think with Trundle Gnar, you've got enough frontline damage that you don't really need to go towards the on-hit virus. So it's going to make the Kog'Maw's lane even harder. Karma is one of the most guaranteed pushing supports. You've got a little bit of a trouble in the mid lane earlier, but Korra later on has great targets, great access to the Mel, who can't really reflect a ton of what you want to do. Kog'Maw has no answer to you at all. It's mostly on your support to help you. And then Tahm Kench and Volibear, do they have targets? Karma, yeah, Varus, of course, if they land on top of them, but I don't think that's an option. You've got enough CC with Chains of Corruption. Pillar can really impact that. It's not a ton of lockdown, but it's enough that I think it hampers the engage. And then on the other side, you've got Trundle Gnar, who can really take on anyone. The Tahm Kench is going to be eaten in about 2 seconds. Batman has great subjugate targets, which is often a criticism of some of the Trundles that get picked up. Are you picking Trundle too early where you don't have anyone to ult? And I think Fenbach's going to have a pretty good time in lane.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with pretty much everything you've said, because I genuinely think Monkey's Newsroom have by far the easier composition to execute. One thing they are lacking a little bit is engage. It's pretty much just going to be, like you said, the pillar, chain of corruption. It's all good, but it's not perfect. But at the same time, you have a poke, Varus, you have a Gnar, you have a Karma. You don't need to engage. And then Trundle can prevent any kind of follow-up, any kind of engage afterwards. And Monkey Safari, they're also kind of lacking a little bit. There is the Abyssal Dive coming out from the Tahm Kench, but it's very slow, it's predictable. It can definitely start fights, but they just have so many tools to play around it. And even the Focus Resolve, the W coming out of Karma, just not something that's typically known to be very effective at preventing an engage. But when the engage is literally just Tahm Kench jumping in and then Volibear trying to run you down, it becomes incredibly effective at just preventing any kind of team fight from really breaking out.
I mean, maybe a lot of the notices on Mac Mittens here with a nice handshake or a hostile takeover, but even then, it is very much you're hoping for an engage rather than you're snapping onto a target, or you're confident in what your game plan is. And even if we're talking about how do these comps go up against each other in a situation where neither team has guaranteed confirmed engage, I still prefer Monkey's Newsroom, because Korra on a flank is such a big problem that I think that Newsroom can feel confident in a sandwich. If you have Korra behind, you have Batman walking forward. Batman subjugates the target, puts up a pillar, just does anything, kill a fox, uses a mantra Q or some kind of slow, right? Chains of Corruption. Korra's behind, she goes in onto one target, be it, Nantes or Frost. I think it's the Otis is on McMittens to really change how this fight goes. And if it doesn't, if they're not able to do that, I think Newsroom are going to walk away with this pretty convincingly. The silver lining here is that later on, Tahm Kench most likely will end up being, or I hope, a peel tool rather than I'm going to Abyssal Dive in, miss, and then probably just die anyway, and a subjugate target. I think that you have to play a real kite back comp, and that feels pretty bad for Volibear, but otherwise, I genuinely don't see how you get in, other than, I guess, Newsroom making quite a big mistake.
Yeah, for sure, but they will have the range advantage on those auto attacks. Mel's going to be able to poke quite a bit from distance, but Either way, it is time for this best of 5 game number 1 between Monkey Safari and Monkey's Newsroom. We are now out onto the Rift, and it looks like Monkey's Newsroom might even be planning an invade. All 5 members are walking in together.
There's going to be that poke virus walking together, clearing out some of these bushes. Yeah, could be an invade. McMittens might be caught.
Yeah, we'll be
Newsroom
scouting
walk
it
in.
out for now, but they don't really have too good crowd control, so they're just going to be able to get the ward, which actually almost goes down to 2 autos, but obviously cannot get that without an auto reset or help from a friend. But the vision is just going to get countered on the other side. We see Glub, Tuppus Weppel, and Just Cooper in the area, but Just Cooper walking a little bit deep. They're not going to be jumping in on it quite yet, so no one's going to start fighting, just a little bit of poke going to go back and forth. But interesting how the vision is different, because there's now going to be a vision award on the red buff instead of the Raptors, which is what we normally see.
Glub Tuppus Wapple, first of all, what a name. That's ridiculous. But second of all, had to use Ghost or felt like they needed to use Ghost to get out of there. I think that's it's a small win, but it's really nice in lane for Fenbach, where that's really the only threat for you as a Gnar in lane, especially early. Like, you do so much work, especially level 2 when you get W online. I think it could be percent health or it's max health. I'm not sure which version, but it's definitely health damage that W does. And now you can't get chased down. He can't really get away when dive is down, which you can follow and avoid really, really easily as Gnar. So, yeah, I'm not sure why Glub Tuppus Weppel felt like they needed to use Ghost. Maybe I didn't quite see their position and was caught out, but I think they were safe.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there might have just been the issue of them not really seeing each other. They didn't know how many members were there. They didn't know who was there. And maybe we're just a little bit concerned of all 5 members kind of crashing down. And unlike Flash, Ghost isn't fully instant. You need a little bit of time before you do build that distance. So I'm guessing it was just to be a little bit on the safer side. But either way, most likely Fenbach is just going to be running that lane anyway. Range versus melee, especially early, is always so difficult to play. So on the melee, you basically just sit back, try to collect as much CS as possible, though. Having said that, right now, Cora doing really well in the mid lane melee range matchup. Up 3 CS and even keeping Frost back underneath the turret.
When McMittens was caught earlier at the Raptors, you can see the idea of Newsroom's comp. The Mittens, level 1, with no CC on top of them, takes over half of their health bar at level 1 just to the poke from Newsroom. If that's level 2, level 3, if there was any CC there, right, Chains of Corruption's Pillars, the Fox's hand shook, but no deal today. You get taken down basically instantly if that's, you know, level 3 Varus or level 6 onwards of this comp. If you're caught like that by yourself as a squishy, which most of this comp is, it's just
Cooper looking towards Cora right now. Gonna be getting the relentless smash. Flash has already been used and now trying to get away with the shuriken flip, and will be able to. Badman gonna be here to cover as well, but that's still Flash burned from Cora.
It's a very nice pull there. Good pathing from Just Cooper. Wasn't really anything used from Just Cooper or Frost. Just walk into mid, find a good gank, force Flash, walk away. You don't waste your jungle timing, and now Just Cooper up to the top lane, but he's on a ward, so no sweeper. He doesn't know that, but Fenbach will be very aware of this. As, yeah, we tune into bot. It's looking rough, but I will say the CS is pretty decent still.
Yeah, I mean, when the support's the one that's taking all the poke, it does work, but Just Cooper actually going to be running out of Fenbach anyway. So even with the ward, just being able to zone this Gnar ended up helping so much. Flash is going to be burned, and there really weren't any camps available at the start of that. As Killer Fox going to be looking for the root right now. Will be able to get it, but the handshake will pull Killer Fox underneath the turret, but it's big news with a piercing arrow, and first blood goes the way of Monkey's Newsroom.
It's unfortunate that Killer Fox flashes away because Nantes can't get the trade with his passive, but a very nice first blood on just the target you want it to be on. Big news. Taking that, and this is an oppressive lane. We've been seeing that. That's obviously how they got the 2v2 kill. Now has tier. That's really the early spike for this virus, getting extra mana. Next is the Dirk. Once that comes online and then the first item, this lane is going to become very hard, almost impossible for Kog'Maw to really do anything. And use Cleanse, right? That's pre-level 6. What were you cleansing? A slow there? When Chance of Corruption comes out, you're dead again.
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be massive threat. I mean, that's really why you do pick this Varus Karma lane, kind of the new age Karma Ezreal, where your idea is just to win lane. Korra does have level 6 pop, but isn't going to go for that perfect execution yet. Just holding onto it as again, Nanites taking so much damage. Macman is actually flashes for the handshake, but Big News just going to be able to walk it out. Gets 1 or 2 extra autos from the Renata Glass, and that's it. And with the wave pushing into Big News, it's going to be so much harder for them. As now Glove, Tuppus Swappel looking for Fenback, getting a decent amount of autos, and with the Devour, gonna try and throw Fenback underneath the turret. There is no Megadar. That's just gonna be a solo bolo. The Tom Kench coming in clutch.
You can't be caught in the matchup like that. I had just looked it up as well. The Gnar W is % max health of enemy target, and it's taken down in that 1v1. Great solo kill. Just Cooper forced to flash away. This Killer Fox is about to find a route. First Dragon over to Newsroom though. Safari finding the solo kill in the top lane.
Yeah, I mean, lots of stuff kind of going the way of both these two teams. Pretty even so far. But we do see Korra is starting to build up a decent HP lead over in the mid lane. I think part of that is also why they were able to get the Dragon on the side of Monkey's Newsroom. And Korra even threatening Just Cooper inside of that Raptors camp. Just Cooper going to be able to just back away and take that. But even more poke going towards Mac Middens and Nanites. This bot lane's really difficult. And at the same time, I don't even know if a gank from the Volibear would even help them out too much here. Unless they're able to kill both, with both those kills going to Kog'Maw. But even so, I think it's still an impossible lane for them, as the first plate goes down to Big News.
I see why the CS is quite even now. It's because the bot lane of Monkey Safari is trading their entire health bar to get the CS. So they're only 2 in disparity before that plate went down, but they are constantly under the tower, and they're a constant threat of not only, 2v2 kills, or solo kills in this case, as -1 for Fenback, but a dive. If Batman ever feels the urge, he can rotate over and just press anything onto one of these two, and they will die for a dive. But Killer Fox is rotated over now,
Cooper
looking for these
grubs.
grubs.
The Thundering Smash, but Batman is going to be here. Subjugate not going to get used. But that is going to be the Stormbreaker burned from Just Cooper. So another major cooldown burned as Glove Tuppus Swappel just winning out on those trades. Big news with a big solo kill in the bot lane. And I mean, just looking at this screen, I think we already know how this happened. Just a lot of poke down. Big news.
Chase Corruption wasn't even used. He just autos him and just Qs him. Yeah, that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, and with that, they're going to be able to take those grubs. Though as I say that, they are bringing in 4 members up here from Monkey Safari. It is 4v4 on the top side. Just Cooper going to get knocked back with the peddler, but the handshake going to pull Batman back. Flash forward. They're aiming for Just Cooper, and that's going to be the kill going over to Korra. It's in the top lane. Glove Tuppus Swappel with another solo kill. So it is 1 for 1. And Glove Tuppus Swappel is in the area. Subjugate is still available, so Batman can steal away some stats, but Glove Tuppus Swappel hasn't really stacked too many yet. Frost is in the area. Mac Middens is in the area. And with the handshake, going to prevent that shuriken flip. But it will be enough zoning potential. So Monkey's Newsroom, they should be able to walk away here with all 3 of the grubs. Glove Tuppus Swappel going to get rooted off the back of that. So 3-2 in terms of kills now overall score. And 2 of the objectives going the way of Monkey's Newsroom.
Fenback's been solo killed twice. Still has a CS lead. I mean, it's not very much, 6 CS at the moment. But 3 grubs to Trundle Gnar is a big deal. Those 2 are great pushing in a side lane. Korra walking maybe a bit too far forward, still looking for the solo kill.
Shuriken flip has been used. I think Frost is trying to get into that execute range. Golden Eclipse is available, but Korra just going to reset. You're not going to be pushing their luck any further. So probably a wise move.
Yeah, now we're in a situation where this bot lane is kind of blowing open. You've got 2 kills now for Big News, plus a pretty decent CS lead. It's not, you know, as huge as it could be if Nantes was playing a bit safer, but like I said, he's trading
The
his
pillar is going
entire
to be
health.
there. Frost
Batman.
subjugates used as well. Killer Fox with the root should be able to get it, but just Cooper is in the area as well. Thundering Smash does build a decent amount of space, but Korra trying to dive in, but is going to be underneath, so the Golden Eclipse gonna get the kill. Frost gonna turn that around. It's a 1-0 with the play being started by Monkey's Newsroom.
Monkey's Newsroom, I mean, they're in the lead, but it's not a massive lead. They're mostly in the lead in bot. So they've got to be careful. There's still a ton of anti-engage you see from the handshake. It's just a great option right there. The root as well from Frost.
Oh, I've seen
Very, very nice. Just under the tower. On a ward again, Just Cooper finds his way up here again.
Is going to come through, and Fenbach actually going to be on the wrong side of it. Will try to jump away in the flash bird. This is the exact same play, except this time they have the HP. They have the Stormbringer and gloved up as well. Gonna be able to get another kill on the top side as Korra gets a solo kill in the mid lane onto Frost, and just action all over the place. So 4-4, but both sides just kind of winning on opposite ends.
Just Cooper barely lives. And that tower shots.
Not going to be going, but Big News actually tanking underneath the turret. But Nadine's going to get rooted up. Just needs a little bit more. Will have the passive coming through. And that's going to be a double kill in the bot lane. Nadine's and Mac Middens get that 2-0 as the dive goes wrong for Monkey's Newsroom.
Yeah, a huge mistake. I still think, like, Monkey's Newsroom have a lead. They have a crushing bot lane. First complete, like, full item for Big News, full item for Killer Fox. Korra might be caught.
Gonna get hit by the Shuriken flip as well, trying to run away, and will be forced to flash out as Batman gonna start on the dragon. Sorry for interrupting you, but continue.
That's all good. I was worried for Just Cooper there. Could have been a scary story for him, but I mean, it's still going to be Dragon. Second Drake over for Monkey's Newsroom as Mac Mitten might be caught here by the root, but going to break that hand chook in.
Yeah, just a lot of poke going back the way onto Korra. Just a little bit over 50% HP, but this should still be the Dragon going over to Monkey's Newsroom. This is the mountain, and I believe this was also going to be feats completed for them. So they're in a very good spot. They're going to have those boots upgrades. And I also just realized, but with that dive, Monkey Safari actually do take the gold lead overall for the first time in this game.
And the thing is for Monkey's Newsroom is, like I was saying, they're ahead. They've got these completed items. Like, they're really, really far ahead. But right now, you see what should have happened. Batman passed down. You play the poke. You play slow. You don't need to look for these turret dives against Renata, where she's just going to revive
Frost, just the one bite coming out of Batman. Just a single chomp is now. Mac Middens is going to be getting hit by the Shuriken flip, looking for the perfect execution. But so far, will stay alive, and Batman's starting to get low. Same with Korra, but not going to be going down underneath the turret this time. But Mac Middens gets to walk away, and first turret going the way of Monkey's Newsroom.
I feel like you don't need to split this as Killer Fox. I think you could just give the full turret to Big News. I don't think Karma's really... she has the item, right? She's got Shirelia's. Is there any real next item that you're hoping to, like, rush towards? I feel like no, but Monkey's Newsroom, they still have to be careful on these players. It's another almost overextension. That would have been Dark Seal stacks off of Korra. A shutdown over that's now been... looks like it's gone, the shutdown that Korra had, which is a 200 goal, would have been very nice. Even though it would have been onto the support, but like I said, to finish that first support item is a big deal. But could have been a double kill, like Batman could have dove and died too, like could have been a big mistake there. I think Newsroom have to slow it down a little bit, make sure they understand what Monkey Safari can do when they get dove, right? Renata is a great champion at answering dive, especially under towers. So as long as they continue to play slow, and I think continue to play around this virus, Chains of Corruption in this game is a huge tool if it's not reflected by Frost and if Nantes doesn't have cleanse. Obviously, it's a bit hard to force cleanse because there's not a whole lot of CC, but look at the damage that Big News does.
Yeah, I mean, Nantes just really cannot farm. Luckily, at this point, does have the living artillery as Now Big News underneath the turn, forced to flash away as Middens will get taken down. Will survive a little bit longer with a bailout, but still going to be another kill going to Big News. But this poke coming out of Big News and Killer Fox is so hard to deal with. And I'm wondering who you even send to match them to try and answer that. Maybe Frost, but even so, that's going to be very difficult as the mid-tier 1 still going to be going the way of Monkey's Newsroom as they continue to grow this lead.
This is a humongous draft gap right now. You pick Varus, they pick Cogmore. Like, that answer is really questionable from me. As Just Cooper tries to walk in.
Gonna get rooted. Nope, not gonna get rooted up, but is gonna get rooted down really low because of that final piercing arrow. Glove, Tuppus Wupple is in the area looking towards Fenbach. Meganar is up and will now be procced. So Fenbach, now the big tanky form, could look for the engage over the wall. I don't know how much vision they do have there. Abyssal Dive. Macmidden's gonna get hit into the wall, but no follow-up gonna get used quite yet. Rift Herald does go down to Monkey's Newsroom, but neither side really wants to start the fight. There's nothing to fight for on the side of Monkey's Newsroom, and I think Safari understand that if they engage, they do not come out the victors.
I mean, this is a Gnar and a Trundle with 3 Grubs and Herald. If they want to send it down a lane, all the towers in that lane are basically gone. And with the lead that Monkey's Newsroom have, or the deficit, I should say, that Monkey Safari are in, you can't really clear the Herald and the waves effectively enough. I think you just wait for this next Drake, send the Herald down mid lane, get a tier 2 as you're getting Dragon, or even lure in Monkey Safari into a fight around Dragon, play really slow on some vision, take the Dragon and some kills, and then break open the base of Monkey Safari. Monkey's Newsroom, they have a great position right now, and a commanding position at that. 45 seconds on this Drake, and I really don't see an answer. A way in for Monkey Safari. They've got Bork on Cogmore. Great. Who's that going to hit? Is it the Virus? No. Well, you know, the fight's kind of over as soon as Big News rocks up to the party. Frost has first item, but it's Blackfire Torch. That's not a burst tool. You aren't going to burst down Big News instantly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a really difficult spot to be in. Glove Tuppus Wupple is winning pretty hard. 4-0 in that top lane right now. As Macmidden's gonna be jumped upon. Still gets hit by the pillar. And now the hostile takeover is gonna go back and forth. But with the move speed coming out of Bacon and Big News, they'll still be able to continue. But that was the Chain of Corruptions traded for the hostile takeover. So it is somewhat of an even trade of ultimates. But now they still have the inner side for Monkey's Newsroom. Poke coming out over top, almost hits on Mac Middens. But the Ocean Drake, this would be the 3rd dragon going over to Monkey's Newsroom if they're able to secure. But now Big News, that's going to be their main target. But with the pillar, with the Blasco, Big News is going to be okay. But Just Cooper flashes over the wall, but Just Cooper is alone. The subjugate has already been used as Batman flashes over as well. Corey now looking towards Mac Middens, will be able to get the kill. Bailout just got to buy a little bit of time. Frost slowed down by Fenbach. Fenbach looking to still follow. But it is just going to be the 1-for-nothing. The Dragon should now definitely be going the way of Monkey's Newsroom. But Glove Tuppus Wupple was not even in the fight. That's where all the gold is for Safari. But at the very least can trade a turret in the top side.
I mean, I think Monkey's Newsroom approached that fight a bit too aggressively. You know, not waiting their turn, pushing a bit too aggressively. Big News gets caught with no flash, but the comp is so much better. The Virus Karma have 0 answer. And the GOAT, Batman, flashes over the blue buff pit to peel for his AD carry. Beautiful play from him. I'm not sure if it was necessary, but it looked good, and it might have been. I mean, if Just Keeper had enough damage, Big News was going to get taken down in the 1v1. I mean, despite how strong this Virus is, it's still a range. If you're on top of him as a melee, you're going to be able to do a ton of damage. There was a bit of a funny flash there, but there is really nothing that Monkey Safari can do. You're against Soul Point, it's Ocean Soul, any kind of consistent damage that you wanted to do with Cogmore in this, you know, mid to early late game, I'll say, is going to be negated by the Ocean Soul. Any of the poke that you can do with Mel on this one item is going to be negated by Ocean Soul. So,
yeah,
this is a great game.
I mean, it definitely is, but what's really interesting to me in that play is Big News didn't use a single summoner. Still has Flash, still has Barrier. So, even if Batman didn't Flash Pillar there, I think Big News will definitely be able to escape. Just maybe would have to burn a summoner. And
This
I'm
slows down
noticing...
in the fight.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm noticing a pretty interesting item coming out of Cora right now. The full Medjai's has been purchased. Only on 5 stacks right now, but that just shows the confidence the Monkeys Newsroom are feeling right now. Handshake is going to reach on it too, though. But no fight is going to be there. Abyssal Dive going to find its way onto Batman. No follow-up quite yet. The Gorge is going to be there. And now this is what they're going to be looking for. They're going to look for Batman. They're going to look for the Jungler. They need some extra damage. They need some extra stacks. But now the rest of the team is here. And Cora, in the middle of everyone, going to get shut down by Nanites. And Nanites actually with 2 kills. But the rest of the team is already here. Killer Fox looks to trade back the bailout. Not going to proc. And Big News not going to hit the piercing arrow. Now Frost is low, going to get Nard into the wall. Couple more autos is all that's needed. Frost is still alive, looking to get the shutdown, and we'll be able to trade onto Big News in the back, and that's actually a 4-for-3 in favor of Monkey Safari.
What is Cora doing? I'm sorry, that was one of the worst plays I've ever seen. You take a fight 2v5, not because it's forced on you, but because you feel like you need to. There's literally no reason to engage there. Okay, you take the fight 2v5. Batman walks in, subjugates, and then Cora gets in the Herald and drives past into a wall so that the Herald is now useless. And all you've used the Herald for was a knock-up and you're in a Kali. Then your entire team has to walk in to save you because you're going to give 2 kills over end mid tower. And then everybody dies, including your Big News shutdown. I have no idea what that play was. Newsroom going for another fight.
Yeah, but the handshake...
I feel like they just need to slow it down.
I think they may have been feeling themselves a little bit too hard, and that actually is them losing their gold lead. Very slight, practically even, but Monkey Safari have definitely caught up. Now, the gold hasn't been their biggest issue. They've only been down, I think, at the worst, 2.5K. Which for 20 minutes isn't that bad. But the fact that they're able to claw it back at all really says a lot. And Nanites now on 2 items. Gonna be even stronger. We saw the opportunity for that. But the Otacon is on the field right now. And Monkey's Newsroom, they're gonna start it. And doesn't look like Safari are gonna be contesting it at all.
This makes way more sense to me. Just start up the objective. Use your vision. Pull in Monkey Safari like they're doing just now. And look for the fight. Here it comes.
Yeah, they have definitely been able to scout it. There is a lot of armor shred coming through. Batman going to be coming through. Fenback looking to knock everyone into the wall. And now the hostile takeover has already been burned, but Fenback first to go down. Cora in the middle of everyone in the back line, but not able to find the assassination on anyone. Perfect execution used as a defense mechanism. And now Big News trying to poke over the wall. Hasn't been able to land that piercing arrow. Just Cooper looking for Killer Fox. Will be able to force out the Shurelias, but not going to continue with that. And now it's going to be the other way around. Monkey Safari, they're going to be the ones to start pulling the Otacon. But there is a lot of pokes still on Monkey's Newsroom, even 4v5. Big News with the piercing arrows, just looking for Frost, and Frost will survive, but is only at around 100 HP. Batman in it, and it's going to actually go to Nanites, and now the fight's going to be breaking open once again. Cora gets taken down quite low, same with Just Cooper, and Cora is going to be the first to go down. Batman still trying to wail over onto Mac mid. It's Glove, toughest level, trying to buy some space, and Nanites just needs to 1v1 Batman, but it's gonna be hard. But Glove, toughest level again, coming in clutch, helping Nanites stay alive. And another piercing arrow gonna be going wide. Big News now with the Chains of Corruption, gonna try taking down this monster's tank, but they just don't have the damage. The gray health coming through, and Glove, toughest level again going to survive. Abyssal Dive gonna be used into the backline and is gonna start running away. Meganar gonna be coming back up shortly. With the final tongue lash, the fight is over. And I'm pretty sure Monkey Safari definitely came out as the victors in that one.
And got the Otacon somehow was secured by the Cogmore. But it's just these fights, they're so uncoordinated for Newsroom. It's too far to go back, so I don't want to do that. But I'm fairly sure when Safari walks in, Fenbach and Cora may be caught here, but nice little flip over the wall. Caught by the handshake, actually. Cora used a bit of a speed boost to get out. Actually, Dragon has spawned Pillar on the Glob Toppers.
Dragon is going to be the next fight now. And both sides, they have to go for it. This is going to be Dragon Soul, so if Monkey's Newsroom are able to get it, they're going to be in a much, much better position during fights. It isn't the strongest for them, but it's still not something you want to deal with. At the very least, it'll give them the infinite mana. As now Cora sees Frost going to be jumping in immediately, not going to be able to land the solar snares. Mac Middens going to be able to prevent Funback from hitting everyone, but Mac Middens still going to be the first to go down. Cora still off to the side, trying to poke a little bit with that 5-point strike. As Killer Fox and Big News, now they're playing the comp the way it's been designed. Just throw poke, peel back, and just rinse and repeat until you get the objective for free. And now they have been able to zone out all of Monkey Safari. Big News just going to throw one last piercing arrow over top. And now they're going to get started onto the Ocean Dragon. Monkey Safari, they're going to be trying to come out from the side, but I don't think this is doable. And in fact, they're just going to back away and let it go. And Frost getting jumped upon in the mid lane. Cora XTC no longer has that shuriken flip or that perfect execution. Could look for it. Actually, that was the second charge, so Frost just able to buy enough space to get away from it. This fight is just never ending. Both sides constantly poking, but that is the soul already claimed for Monkey's Newsroom. And now Frost gonna get caught, but no, they're still going to be the Devour. Frost is still alive. Solar Snare as well. And somehow after that, no one goes down, but that is going to be Soul going the way of Monkey's Newsroom.
I was smack talking Cora a bit before, so I got to make sure that I hype her up when I think she did a really good job, and I think that fight was really well played by Cora. And you might say better, she didn't really do anything. That's the point. She's just sitting there behind, off of vision. This is a crucial part. Multiple fights before, Cora is sitting on wards, and everyone can see, and crucially, Frost can see her. So constantly this Mel poke is going in. When she tries to engage, she's caught by Renata. No, finally she's got a sweeper instead of a stealth orb, and is sitting not on vision, just poking like you were saying. 5-point strike, 5-point strike, going into the mist, being a threat, being like a scare tactic around the back, and it's causing chaos for Monkey Safari. On the other side, Big News, constantly sending these piercing arrows. The same for Killer Fox, sending poke in, and the fight is perfectly played. That's how this comp is meant to be played. You said it exactly how I would too. This comp is designed to be played exactly how we just saw. And this is the first fight, I think, that we actually get to see Newsroom play their comp the way that it's designed to be played. And look how hard the fight is for Monkey Safari. They're still at a massive range disadvantage. They still have no real answer for Cora in the backline when she's off of vision. And it's Soul. Ocean Soul over for Monkey's Newsroom, which is going to make these poke fights even more favored. They already were much more favored, but even more favored for Monkey's Newsroom. Baron has spawned. Now you've got a poke Varus. It's not an option to burst down this Baron. It would be a mistake for Monkey's Newsroom to try to force Baron here. But what I love what they're doing is they're finally sweeping out vision together. It's so hard to play against poke comp when you don't have vision of what they're doing. They can be in any bush, every bush, and you have no idea where they're doing it, what they're doing, and you're constantly getting pelted by these arrows, by the Comet from Big News, by the Comet and the poke from Killer Fox, the shield as well. I would love to see, speaking of shield, would love to see Pen next for Big News.
Oh, Cora.
Well, hold on, Cora might be caught.
The top side, Abyssal Dive gonna get used as well, but Cora just gonna walk out of the bush, and with a shuriken flip, we'll be back out of safety.
I love that. I feel like Cora has really said, okay, that fight in mid was not great. I need to lock in a bit more. Shirelia's in mid will push the wave a bit faster in, but other than that, just some poke onto the Cogmore. Joss Cooper forced out. Monkey's Newsroom, they're not playing too crazy. They're not taking a big 5v5 team fight, which they lose, especially against Hostile Takeover. It's slow, it's vision control, it's pushing these waves in, taking the poke, forcing Nantes to go back. One of the biggest issues, though, is Glubtopper's weapon. They don't have a ton of burst damage to take down a significant portion of this health bar outside of Big News, and he doesn't have any pen, right? They also don't have a lot of consistent damage outside of Batman and Fenbark, who do have a lot of that, but if they walk too far forward and target Glubtopper's weapon, he's going to Abyssal Dive out. Now you're out of position, so you have to play really careful around this time catch. You're 2 levels down on Nah. I would love to see, like I was going to say, Shirelia's. Hold on.
But it is going to be the 2-on-1. The Subjugate still hasn't been used, so it looks like they want to hold on to those cooldowns. The Glubtopper's weapon still getting stunned up, still trading too. And I mean, that's just how tanky he is. These are probably the two best members to look for. But now just Cooper, super low. Cora jumping into the backline, 5-point strike, going to get the first kill. And that's going to be the second one as well. Nanites now trying to trade backwards, trying to kite back. But there are 4 members to make that 5. Just Nanites completely alone. It's going to be a 2-for-0, a 3-for-0, sorry, in favor of Monkey's Newsroom. And that just opens up the map for them.
Again, a great position from Cora, this time off of a TP, which is so good to see. Oftentimes, I see champions like a Kylie getting played in a front-to-back team fight, which we saw earlier on in this game. But Cora has had 2 back-to-back great fights, a great TPM, and you just sandwich the team. It forces Monkey Safari to say, okay, we have to stand our ground, we have to fight. We cannot kite back and look for some kind of hostile takeover engage with Nanites doing a ton of damage, look for Frost Poke. You have to take the fight now. And it looks so much better for Monkey's Newsroom when the fight's getting played like this.
Look towards Cora. I don't think Glove Top as well is going to be going full in there, but they still haven't been able to take out this Tom Kench, though, and it just doesn't even seem to matter right now.
I mean, it's big news building some pen now. Not full Shirelias or gets the tower with the Baron Cannon. OP. But you need pen. It's gonna need to be like a subjugate earlier onto Globtop as Weapon, whether you want to front to back or not. But it's Elder in 30 seconds, Toki. This is a pretty big deal because if Monkey Safari can take this, despite the Soul, the Baron, not a huge gold lead, it's very flippable if you're able to get this Elder.
Yeah, definitely, but that's a very big if right now. And we saw Mac Mittens trying to get 1 ward, loses 3/4 of their health. And now with that, Monkey's Newsroom, it's a poke comp with Baron buff. This is the absolute worst thing to play into. Monkey Safari, they're going to try. They're clearing out the wave in the mid lane so far. Frost actually in the area could look for someone or something, but again, just this Ocean Soul is going to really negate a lot of that poke. Piercing Arrow reflected back onto Big News. And again, it's just going to get healed up. Now Batman running forward, throws out the pillar, not going to be able to find anyone quite yet. I think it just keep them locked under this mid wave. And now with this full vision control, now that they see that all 4 have to be stuck, now they can just turn and go to Elder if they want to. Because by no means do they actually have to start this.
Yeah, I think the Monkey's Newsroom, like you said, they don't even have to do Elder, right? Don't even give the opportunity for a random flip, a random Mel ability over the wall. Just sweep all the vision, keep Monkey Safari locked in their base, take down these turrets with Baron, and then go to Elder later.
Mac Mittens is going to get stunned up. Hostile takeover does come through, but Big News on the Rampage now going to get the kill, and that's also going to be the TP used from Frost to get to the mid lane. Tier 2 turret is still going to go down, and now the Elder, I believe Batman is finally going to pull it. And with Batman and Big News, they should definitely just be able to shred through this. And if we thought this poke hurt before, add the burn and add the execute, this is gonna really, really suck for Monkey Safari.
Yeah, despite the gold lead, which is still relatively close before that Elder at least, the game is basically over. The door is pretty much shut for Monkey Safari. You would need a miracle or a humongous throw from Newsroom to throw this game.
Oh, Devour actually going to get used there on a Frost, trying to keep the smell alive. But I think it makes sense. You kind of need Frost to win these fights. The only one that can reach the backline at all. But they're still going to continue their siege. Baron buff now having expired, but the Elder buff is very much still active. They're going to take down this tier 3. And Cora actually flipping in. Going to take a little bit of damage on the way out. But again, it just kind of free to do it because of that Ocean Soul. They get the mid lane inhib. They're going to roam down to the bot side. Fenback already shoving the wave in. They're looking to end the game here. That's going to be their second inhib right now. Still tier 2 available on the top side, but with their poke, with the damage, they definitely could just look for more. But it's hard to approach. They do have the wave clear coming out of Frost and Nanites. That living artillery definitely kills those minions pretty quickly when they do not have the Baron buff available. But the 5-point strike with the Elder really burning down on the Glove toughest weapon over in that top side. Just trying to get whatever they can out. And now they're finally able to approach the tower just a little bit, just get a couple autos down. But they're fighting for every single inch. I admire the tenacity being shown by Monkey Safari. Elder is still up for 1 more minute, so they have 1 or 2 more waves where they can try pushing in with this. And that's all the Monkey Safari need to survive on. After that, they can definitely just hold on to this defense. They don't need to worry as much, but they need to be able to survive these next few waves. And actually, Cora going to be jumping in with a perfect execution, going to go golden, and will be able to just slay Mac Minutes in the backline, and coming back in with a Shuriken Flip. That's 2 kills for Cora. Looking for Glove Top level. First death of the game. Triple kill for Cora. Now looking for Nanax, now looking for Frost, but Cora is going to be going down while looking for that Penta. So Cora will go down, but so will the Nexus, as Monkeys Knights Newsroom win game number 1.
I mean, off to a great start, some stumbles in the mid-game, but they closed it out with absolute certainty, leaving no doubt in my mind. The Newsroom had complete control over this game. I think it's a really good showing to make mistakes in team fights and adapt. Look at the virus damage, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think that just says everything.
And I mean, there were still more items for Big News, right? You still needed to finish the Shurelias to do more damage to Tom Kenchi. Still, I would probably say something like a Serpent's Fang because of the Tom Kench shield. Really take that out. But yeah, I think for Monkey Safari, you have to think, okay, first of all, we need a comp identity, which I don't think this comp has. Second of all, you need a playable lane. Like, you cannot play Kog'Maw into Virus Karma. It just can't happen. You've taken away, like, you pick Kog'Maw, and this is what I was saying, when you don't pick support with your Kog'Maw, okay, maybe you're worried about a counter pick, but you lose Braum, which this game would have been bad, but you lose Lulu, which would have been okay this game. Braum wouldn't have even been too bad. I think you just shouldn't have gone towards the Kog'Maw in general. I think that if you want to go towards that, it needs to be a 4-5. You pardon me. You cannot have that against the Poke Virus. And even still, I don't particularly understand the Kog'Maw in general. Like, in my mind, Kog'Maw's like ton of range, late game a ton of range, but against tanks, against like a Scion, against an Ornn. I don't really think that Trundle and Na really care about the fact that Kog'Maw's going to be doing like health damage. They're just going to run at him and bite him and shoot piercing arrows at him, which they did do. So for Monkey Safari, I need a completely different look for the bot lane for them.
Yeah, and we'll see if they do kind of go back to the drawing board and get a new draft for game number 2. But until then, we are going to go on a short break. And when we come back, we'll be heading right into that draft. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Welcome back. We are here coming up with game number 2 between the civil war of Monkeys Safari and Monkeys Newsroom. Monkeys Newsroom leading 1-0. And Jay Beto, what do you think is the key for game number 2?
I think it's just giving your comp an identity. I think that's step number 1. Go towards something that's has a simple idea, easy to execute on, but has something solid, right? A pick comp with Viari, a global comp with Talia, picking on side with a late game AD carry, something like that, where you've got a real idea of what you want to do, not a bunch of mismatched pieces and puzzle pieces that don't fit together, and go from there.
Yeah, well, we're going to see exactly what they do because we are in draft for game 2 already. And last time, I believe they mostly banned out 80 carries on the side of Monkey Safari. And then a lot of mid laners banned on the side of Monkey's Newsroom. So very different looks for that early draft as we see Sivir and Hui banned away. And I believe Smolder was banned next by Monkey Safari. So
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised to see that getting banned again as the teams are on the same sides, by the way. So should be a similar draft minus the 10 champions that are going to be fearless banned.
It feels kind of bad to be banning away these things from blue side twice and still have the 80 carry gap be so big in the last game, especially the Smolder. Like, I agree. I think Smolder's pretty strong. If you think so too, just first pick it, right? If you're saying to yourself, no, well, we can't first pick it because it's counterable, why don't you let it through? You know, if it's that big of a deal and you're really worried about it, why don't you go towards it? I'd love to see Monkey Safari getting an early strong bot lane here. You could go towards Lucian. Lucian Braum is still available, but it's going to be Skarner first here for Safari.
I mean, I don't think that's a bad pick. It is definitely a blindable jungler. It isn't one that necessarily needs a lot of gold to be effective. Just it's going to be stacking a lot of stats. Will just be a huge front line in the jungle, as they're also going to lock in Udyr on the side of Monkey's Newsroom. Now, most likely this is going to be Udyr in the jungle. I think that's where Udyr's been going by far the most often right now. I think Caitlyn locked in for big news, and again, it does seem like it's going to make it a pretty difficult bot lane because there's really not a lot that can answer Caitlyn in lane.
Yeah, Ziggs is a pretty decent answer because it's not going to, pardon me, really hurt the Caitlyn too much, but it's going to make it so that at least Antis can survive the lane pretty well. And a crucial part of this, as Nautilus is going to be the support locked in here, is that Caitlyn doesn't do anything to Skarner in terms of damage, like at all. She cannot touch him. She's getting outranged later on by Ziggs and outscaled as well. The Janna, I'm not convinced. I would have just preferred you go either a Lux and try to slam lane, or go a Braum and play for team fights against, like, Braum against Nautilus is great, Braum against Skarner is excellent, with Caitlyn and Udyr is awesome too. Janna, I feel like there's not a ton of hard engage that like really warrants the Janna right here, and I think Janna's like pretty hard to execute on too. I feel like, yeah, I'm not convinced by the support pickup for Monkey's Newsroom right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Janna will definitely be pretty solid at preventing the Skarner and the Nautilus, but with the Nautilus depth charge, that's something that Janna really can't do anything about. That's always going to be able to hit onto big news. Assuming Mac Mittens is going to be able to get in range, but very interesting set of bans coming through for both these two teams. Getting rid of the two main kind of top lane beefcakes that we know of, the Ornn and the Scion, as well as the Mordekaiser and Syndra getting banned out. And Cassiopeia going to be locked in for Monkey's Newsroom. So very interesting drafts coming out once again for these two teams. Asol, okay.
Whoa.
That's going to scale.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of scaling here. I mean, with the new changes to Ziggs making his AP scaling a little bit better in the late game, which was quite a change. Renekton to round out some AD damage here, which is kind of necessary, and there's not a whole lot Monkey's Newsroom can pick into it, right? Beyond going something like an Aurora, but even then, that's a volatile lane. Mundo, which, I mean, it's really tanky, but who's your target later on, right? You're never touching Ziggs, you're never touching Asol. Both of them get to build Leandries now if they want to against Udyr Mundo and feel great. I think Monkey's Safari, I mean, I wanted an identity for the comp, and they've got it. They've got a ton of engage this time if they want it. Renekton has guaranteed confirmed engage with like Flash W. Skarner is a mega tank. Nautilus has unmissable CC with his ult. You've got a ton of range with Ziggs. Great wave clear with Ziggs and Asol, so you pretty safe against dives. And a really, really solid late game. Skarner with Heartsteel scales pretty well, and Asol and Ziggs do the same. Asol obviously the better of the two. But then for Monkey's Newsroom, I think the Cassiopeia was potentially a try to snipe away a Yone pick. So you feel a bit bad going Yone because, you know, you've got AP bot lane, maybe you want Yone in the mid lane. But now I feel like Cassiopeia is a bit out of place here. It's a very different look to what Cora played last game, which was the Akali. I feel like it's not bad against like Skarner, Renekton, but you really can't hit the backline at all. Caitlyn in lane is good, and it's going to win early. It will, with double ranged. But later on, few levels in queue, first item for Nantes, it's not going to do a whole lot. And then, you, again, don't really have any snappy engage. You've got an Udyr and a Mundo who all they can do is run at you in a straight line, and you're playing Ziggs Asol.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you on that. I think Monkeys definitely having much easier to execute composition. And not only do they have the better engage, they also have the better poke. And it's rare
Mm.
where you kind of win on both of those fronts because the Ziggs is going to outpoke the Caitlyn. I think that's just the reality of it. The
Mhm.
only way I see Monkey's Newsroom doing well in this is if they win through the side lanes. I mean, Fenbach
Mm.
on the Mundo. Yes, like you said, in the late game, not going to have too many targets in the backline. But the turrets could be the targets, you know? We've all
Yeah.
seen those clips coming out, especially from the EU. We know what Mundo can do in the late game, but we're
Push,
going to have to
push,
see if they're
baby.
going to be able to get to that late game as we are in the best of 5. Game number 2, Monkey's Newsroom currently leads 1-0 as we see all 5 members for Monkey's Safari grouping up for game number 2.
I have seen a build with the Udyr where you go like lethality crit AD basically, and you max. I think it's Q max, and it does like max health damage, and you just destroy tanks. And I guess that would make sense a little bit for me for the Skarner, but the problem is that you're really squishy with that. So you end up dying in about 2 seconds on your own. It's kind of like a really thin glass cannon where you obliterate everything you touch, especially big health bars, but you also get like two shot by Zigzaysol. I'm not sure if he'll go towards that, but something that I was thinking about and considering. Ooh, that was a sweeper used early and only got one hit off there for Batman.
But the
Feels a bit,
important
feels a bit rough.
Yeah, but the important thing is they know where the ward is, and knowing is half the battle. So Batman, at the very least, will have that. And once again, the ward situation is kind of the same as in game number 1 because they did get the ward onto the Raptors from the side of Monkey's Newsroom. So both sides will have some information on where the junglers are. They're going to have full information on where Batman starts, but not necessarily going to know the full path after that. But
Yeah.
all these lanes are kind of starting up, and who do you think is really going to be the first one to try and make a play this game?
I mean, to be honest, it should be Newsroom because Monkey's Safari really outscale. Like, it's a significant outscale too. Mundo has a ton of HP, sure, but you can go double Leandri's builders here, which does feel pretty rough. And I think that the early game for Newsroom should be winning, like, basically across the board. You should have pushing lanes outside of top. Like, Mundo
Big
needs
News gonna
1-2
get hooked with
items.
a dredge landed. Decent amount of poke, but now Mac Middens gonna dodge away from the Piltover Peacemaker and the Tornado. So could have been very dangerous actually. Mac Middens playing with fire there, but keeping cool.
You gotta be careful. I mean, especially considering that Batman's pathing towards the bot side, you should know that as well because you saw him on Vision. So in about 40 seconds or so, can't be going for those hooks because you don't see this too often, but it's very likely that you can see a lane gank. Speaking of,
Yeah, they're gonna be looking onto Korra, and Korra does have flash available and will actually use it. Just Cooper gonna follow with it. One more autos needed, and Korra actually survives and will get hit by the final seismic bastion of all things. That is gonna be first blood going over to Monkey Safari though, as actually huge trade of the bot lane as well. Big News is super low. Might have even just been the poke coming out of the Ziggs.
the thing is in this lane as well is that because Big News hasn't gone Fleet. I mean, Fleet's been nerfed so many times recently for ranged. When you're playing Ziggs, pardon me, with Doran's ring start, you get double pots, so you've got more healing, and you have TP because Ziggs goes TP. He doesn't really need any other summoner spell. So you're always going to be favored in trades like that, even if health is favored for Big News, which it wasn't. It probably was actually like in the all-in like trades, sorry, because Nantes had to use both pots, but it doesn't matter because both pots get used. You have a CS advantage. Now you base, most likely you're going to go tier here, maybe you go multi-pot. That's really the base you're looking for, and then just TP back. Looks like Nantes doesn't have, oh no, definitely did have enough for tier. So that means it's going to be Leandri's, like guaranteed, like rushing Leandri's, which I think is fine.
Getting dove flash for flash with the ignite. Gonna be enough. Glove top and Swapple again, just showcasing that top lane domination. Is now Korra gonna be running into Frost, gonna get a decent trade in the mid lane as well. But now Batman coming in from the side. There's no dice. It's just gonna be sliced there. No flash available either. So Batman gonna flash forward, will heal up a little bit, but still gonna be taken down. Batman will get the trade in the top lane. And there's no teleport on Glove Top as well, so might be missing quite a bit in this top side.
The instant triple sword buy. It's so funny to me. Oh, he sold it. He doesn't want to go towards that. Okay, I like anti-heal is...
Mac Midden's coming in from
makes
the
a lot
side.
more sense.
Cora on the wrong side of the shelf. Will just be slowly burning down. Frost just going to run in and take that kill as well. Now Killer Fox going to get hit by the dredge line. No follow-up yet, but Frost is on the way with the Howling Gale. Going to stop that play early. Still, that's going to be Feats of Warfare going the way of Monkey Safari.
And Cora's having a rough one this game. I think, you know, you're outranged. The matchup, like, there is interactions for you, sure, with interrupting things like you can interrupt part of Nautilus Hook, interrupt the ASOL flight, interrupt Just Cooper on his drive-by. But it's quite hard, and you really don't do a whole lot in the fight, right, against the, like, base damage of Skarner Nautilus, especially when you get ignited. And honestly, it's mostly the positioning from Cora at this time. I mean, the first death was a great gank from Just Cooper, but that time Cora way too far forward. Wasn't able to crash the wave. Pardon me. I guess that's a really nice benefit of ASOL. You can really clear the wave effectively, or you can hold the wave at least. Just Cooper pathing up to the top lane, but Finbuck has level 6.
Yeah, but they could still definitely look for Ishdal's impact. Not going to be able to land, but the Dominus is going to be thrown out as well just for the extra damage. So with maximum dosage, Fenbach is going to be able to survive, but that's still a lot of damage dealt. And Mundo, the maximum dosage is a very long cooldown level 1. For anyone that plays Mundo top lane, that's like a 2-minute cooldown. And no kill, and Monkey's Newsroom, they're just going to be able to take the first dragon of the game. So I think they're pretty happy with how that went.
Yeah, I don't play top lane too much. I definitely don't play any Mundo. But I've watched Alaus talk about the Mundo spike. And it seems like it's like Warmogs or some like early HP items, and level 2 ult is pretty strong for Mundo. So it feels weird, right? Because you're playing Cassiopeia that...
Oh, Big is going to get Dredgeline underneath the turret. Will be forced to flash. And still taking a lot of damage, but so is Killer Fox. Nanites low on mana Mac Middens. Now trying to buy some space, and Nanites getting super low. The extra shield is almost there, and Killer Fox will get the kill, and the supports are the ones that are coming out on top right now. Howling Mac Midden super low, but Just Cooper coming in. Double kill for Killer Fox as Just Cooper cleans it up. 2 for 2 in the bot lane.
I mean, I understand not going towards the tier for Ziggs if you're going to build Leandries, but what happens is... what we just saw is what happens when you don't go earn early tier. You run out of mana, and you kind of forget, it seems like. Nanites walks forward a bit too far, and it's able to be turned around just enough for Monkey's Newsroom so that both of the AD and AP carries, respectively, get taken down by the support, and a nice double kill for Killer Fox. It's an interesting discussion. I'll give my opinion. I do want to hear your opinion. Out of Nautilus and Janna, who do you think benefits most from an early item and some gold? I would, like, in past times, I would say maybe Janna with the right AD carry, like getting Mac Mittens wants to close that gold gap even more. I don't know if he's going to be able to hit this, but I think Janna with a nice, like, if it's a... what's the item called? Can't believe I can't remember this. Ardent Sensor. If it's an Ardent Sensor that you're going to go on Janna, that feels really nice. If it's a, like, maybe a Moonstone. But I think Nautilus, like, getting tank items early might be better. Like, they both have boots completed.
I mean, so my thoughts on this is that it definitely is still going to be better for the Janna. Just because Nautilus, at the end of the day, what you're able to do and what you can bring to fights doesn't change based on your gold. Even if you do get a couple kills early, you're not going to be a true tank. You're not going to be tanky because you don't really want to be going those kinds of items to begin with. You're going to be wanting to go typically stuff like maybe the Locket, the Knight's Vow later on, but probably wouldn't want Knight's Vow when you have a Ziggs with you. And that actually does make building a little bit more complicated, but Locket's going to be nice. And you mentioned this in the previous game, but whoever gets first item on the support, that's kind of the only part that matters. After that, it's just the support in general will be able to get more value out of it. The Monsoon, and then coming out with Eye of the Storm, the shield coming out from Killer Fox. you're able to get a lot more items that are able to buff that even without the AP, the extra mana. Because that's typically where you start falling off as an enchanter. You just run out of mana and you can no longer do what you need to do. The Nautilus is always able to do it as long as they're alive. They never run out of mana unless they're playing real fancy.
I mean, this is one of the things I love to talk about. These champions that gold, like they're independent of gold, getting value, right? And they will always have a spot in pro play, no matter what you do to them. Or hold up, or maybe Cora caught out in mid a little bit here, but Killer Fox is around to find some peel. A good fight back, but Mittens is in the bush. With
It is a 2v3 looking for the drive shot, gonna land it onto Cora, and actually they're gonna be going, oh no, that was the Ishtal's impact monsoon. I have never seen that before, but now Just Cooper gonna be turning their attention onto Killer Fox instead. They're still gonna be able to get the first kill, but that Impale monsoon, that looks freaky. I had no idea what happened there for a minute.
Yeah, it looked like one of those like one of those TikToks where everyone's just flashing in random directions and it's all random. Like the Cora flashes forward and dodges Sky's Ascent from Frost. Like, all a bit random there.
Gonna get rooted underneath the turn. Will be using that barrier, and now Ace in the hole looking for the trade.
Ooh.
Not gonna be enough damage. There's the gold coming in for that kill from Max Mittens, keeping them alive there. Killer Fox, unfortunately, not gonna be there to secure the double kill this time around.
A little bit of solo farm as well. Some extra levels that Mac Mittens might not have had if the double kill, or sorry, if the 80 carries hadn't fallen a little bit earlier. But Killer Fox finding some deep wards. I want to go back to what I was talking about these champions in pro play really finding value because of their kit. It's like, you know, Ornn is one of them, I would say. I mean, he's a top laner, so he does get gold. But Vi, a lot of the champions that you find in the jungle, actually, like Maokai, Sejuani, are gold independent because if their kits don't get changed, they could be, of course, you know, not one-shottable, but they'll still find value with their kit due to just the nature of how it works, especially Nautilus. Nautilus is one of the most effective examples of that, as the dragon is smarted away by Batman, and looks like Monkey's Newsroom got what they wanted. They're going back to their newsroom to write another story. Does Killer Fox have the reporter skin? Because I feel like if he doesn't have it on, it should be just disqualified, because that makes them that's so perfect.
Vanilla.
Looks like no. I'm mad. You gotta buy that quickly. Like, you gotta quickly transfer funds, riot points. You have to have that skin if you're Monkey's Newsroom playing Janna. Come on.
That's actually one of the first skins I ever bought in this game. I bought it the day it came out. I was so excited for it. I was one of them support mains back then, and enchanters were actually like really common then. And
yeah,
I was so excited for it. That was like the coolest skin and everything. Everyone was talking about it for like a month before it released. As Frost takes so much damage from Cora now in the mid lane.
I mean, it's that part. You got Rylai's. Oh, pardon me. Some stacks on this tier. I mean, it's a very similar look for Frost in the mid lane too. But I was watching a video, speaking of Janna, about the ridiculous Ardent Sensor meta. I don't know what season that was, but I think it was 2017. It was the year T1 didn't win Worlds that they got 3-0'd by Ruler.
Cora getting jumped in the mid lane once again, and will be able to get the Petrifying Gaze back. And now Frost forced to flash Batman, still going to be chasing forward, but could get this turned around. The Breath of Light just over top by Frost. Another Ishtal's impact. Batman is in the wall. Neither side seems to have enough damage to secure the kill, but going to be flash from the jungle and flash from the mid lane. Just traded back as Killer Fox. Now going to be the next target. Will flash away from the Mega Inferno Bomb. And now Big News looks straight back. The Monsoon keeping Big News alive. Going to flash forward. But in the meanwhile, Killer Fox with the bouncing bomb going to get sniped. So 1-for-1 with the two carries getting the kills.
But crucially, Big News had to flash. So did Killer Fox. But Nantites didn't use any of the summoners. Obviously, one of them's the TP, but didn't have to flash away. Just happy to sit here and continue farming. And like we were saying before, will outfarm this Caitlyn, or sorry, will outscale this Caitlyn eventually. Please, someone pick up that flower on the left. It's really irritating
me so much, too.
We saw the mid lane brawl a little bit earlier. It's kind of been like a seesaw over who's having prio in this lane. Earlier, it was Frost with the wave clear. Now, Cora feeling a bit more confident in it. But eventually, it's going to be Frost, right? Obviously, Cassiopeia, no boots. Like, that's just going to give you an extra advantage due to the stats you get from levels instead. You have the Rylai's, which is pretty difficult for ASOL to like trade in because you can't run away anymore. And if you try to flight, you're just going to get crippled away from that. You've got, you know, stacks. You're winning out in the stacks battle. However, in these fights, they're quite long. Frost is constantly channeling Q. You're giving away stacks over. We'll have to check in every now and again now and keep checking in on the stacks. It doesn't have upgraded ult, but like I said, eventually, there it is. There's the upgraded Sky's Descent. Eventually, Frost will outscale you. Now, it's a big asterisk because if Korra can like play around your beam, she will still kill you. Korra,
yeah, a lot of damage going back and forth. Death Charge even going to get used just to peel for Frost. And that is going to be the Rift Herald going over towards Monkeys. And I just want to take this moment to kind of talk about the state of the game because there's still feats available for both these two teams. And it's 7-4 in kills, but there's only a 400 gold difference. Now, part of that is because of the call that Big News did buy and managed to complete earlier on. But this has been a very close game so far. As Fenback also ready to trade now. And we're seeing Mundo, level 11, has the tier 2, has the Warmogs. This is where the lane really turns around. And I don't think Glub Top as well built up a big enough lead.
Well, this is Herald in mid, and I imagine this is going to crash. There's not enough damage to take it down.
Yeah, now they're going to start fighting. The Sky's Descent over top, and Batman just stuck in the middle of everyone. Going to be going down. Korra XTC still trying to trade, but the Impale going to find its way onto 2. Korra flashing away in the Monsoon. Keeping Korra alive, but the Dredge line will land. Mac Middens trying to find a Korra, trying to survive, but won't have enough peel. Killer Fox trying their hardest to keep Korra alive, but it's still a 2-for-0 and the mid-tier 1. And I believe that's also feat, so huge victory coming out of Monkey Safari.
It's just too much pressure right now with the front line of Skarner and the front line of Nautilus. We watched a Skarner last time we casted together last week with it was Alistar with those 3-man impales all the time. It's not the exact same, but you can just see, I think that Skarner quite underrated right now. Looks really good in a lot of these fights. And there isn't really a way to take down the Skarner at this point. I mean, heart's still on Skarner. Like, it feels bad. I've spoken to some people about it, some other casters, about how there isn't really a great, like, actually tanky and health jungle item, right? Because Skarner wants HP for the scaling in his abilities. Hold on, Josh Cooper.
The fight is starting to break on, but neither side really wants to go forward. There are more numbers here on the bot side for Monkey Safari, but with the positioning, it definitely would have been scary for them, so probably smart for them to back away, but Monkey's Newsroom tried to engage that. I'm pretty sure they'd have gone down too, so both sides just gonna agree to back off for now. But Big News has been farming up a Storm, and Caitlyn's talked about a lot in this early game, but she does scale quite well as a marksman in the late game. It's usually just that mid game where she kind of falls off a bit.
Yeah, I should say for the Caitlyn, like, Glove Puppets maybe looking for an all-in here.
Fenback is fine. This is a Mundo. Maximum dosage is available. And kind of like you talked with Aloy, once you have the Warmog, you just trade HP. It's a losing trade almost every single time when you first get it, but you're just able to regen it, and bit by bit, you end up coming out on top, and Fenback definitely plays Mundo, judging by the positioning, judging by the way they're playing this matchup, because, I mean, at this point, Glub Tuppaswapple does not get to play the game in the 1v1 anymore. Just going to be completely negated by Fenback. And I'm actually a little bit surprised at the itemization for it. The Shojin instead of the Blade of the Rune King.
I was going to say, I feel like it's going to be it should be a Blade of the Rune King game, which this tower's gone, so... I mean, there's a Shurelius to get out of there, so just in case a hook came through, which I was thinking maybe it could. Glub Tuppas giving up the wave.
Looking for the play. They have the falling star, and Korra just going to get burned. Glub Tuppaswapple just easily going to be able to get that kill.
Well, there you go. That's what you do. You push in, take a bit of an awkward trade for yourself, sure, let Fenback heal it up, but then you rotate down to mid, catch Korra down.
But now they have 5 members. Ishtal's impact finds its way onto Batman Monsoon, buys a little bit of space, but the Dredge line onto Killer Fox, and now Death Charge in the back line as well. It's only going to be the 1 kill, but Still, huge kill for Monkey's Safari.
Well, Fenbach's behind. He's opted to not push this lane, and we're talking about push before Fenbach maybe caught out here. Spell shield has been removed.
Yeah, we'll flash out, but now with the Ishtal's impact and the impale over the top, Fenbach is tanky, but is not this tanky. Will be traded 1-for-1 so far. The glove top is Swapple going in pretty deep, and Cora is respawned. Cora trying to deal damage, needs one more hit, and actually Nanites with a bouncing bomb able to get a kill in the backline. As now Cora still walking forward, still trying to find someone. The Noxious Blast is going to land onto Nanites, but so is the bouncing bomb back onto Big News. The Mega Inferno Bomb is almost ready. Could look towards Big News with that. Ace in the hole not going to be cast quite yet. And Nanites with a flash going to be out to safety. But I think overall, Monkey Safari definitely still
there it is.
And will get sniped. The Mega Inferno Bomb on the ward, just finding the perfect angle once again.
I saw him backing up. I saw the ward, and I'm thinking, surely you just send it. Hopefully, Big News is in items in shop, and he was. Nice ult will take down the Caitlyn. Another kill for Nanites. And he's got the Leandries, right? So this damage that can be done now onto the health bars of mostly Fenbach, as Batman has gone for Leandries first. So not that AD build that I was talking about, but he's still just as squishy. I'd be interested to see. I have no idea what actually mathematically does more damage. Whether it's, you know, Qmax with AD, or is it Rmax with, or is that just for lane? I'm not exactly sure. Rmax with Leandries? Yeah. What actually does more damage to big health bars, or just overall? I have no idea, but it's going to be the Leandries picked up for Batman. And 2 completed items now across the board for Monkey's Safari, which is it's a great pushback for them against the kind of domination that Newsroom had in the early game. I didn't get to touch on this a little bit earlier because there were a couple of fights that happened, but the overlay says Mountain Drake. It is actually Hexol, right? That's Hexol with the Ziggs on there. And a Caitlyn, to be fair. There is a ton of value for Hexol this game, a ton of poke champions. And
to get the zoom in.
Touching in on builds as well, Cora's gone Rylai's first, which I'm not a Cassiopeia player. I'd have to look it up, and I will after this. But, okay, has now just completed Roa. 10 minutes from now, 32 minutes in, is the game going to be finished? And B, aren't you already going to be like level 18 or close to it? I know that like the later you get Roa, technically the better it is because XP is harder to get. But you've delayed us, like, you're still not really that strong. You have like 0 minutes Roa and only tier and Rylai's. Where's the damage coming from Monkey's Knights? I agree with you. Sorry, Newsroom. I agree with you that Caitlyn is great late game, but you need to be around an objective first to set up traps.
Speaking of the objective fight, I think this is where it's going to come through. Dredgeline is going to land onto Batman. Batman is going to be the main focus. Now the skies descend. Batman still burning down, but is alive. Fenbach in the meanwhile just trading with Just Cooper on the bot side. But Killer Fox and Big News Cora in the middle of everyone. The petrifying gaze onto all, but no one's able to follow up. As the flash coming in for Big News, going to be able to get onto Frost, but now Glove Top is Wobble on top of Big News, trying to keep them alive. Batman still fighting. Fenbach looking for Just Cooper. So much focus onto this Skarner. Fenbach still alive, gonna get the shutdown, but now will get traded back immediately. Killer Fox looking for the hero play, not able to get it quite yet. Nanites is still alive. Killer Fox trying to fight back, but that is going to be a double kill going over towards Nanites. Mac Mittens is alive. Batman is alive. The Smite is alive for Monkey's Newsroom. So this could end up going the other way. If Batman's able to survive, Dredgeline is going to be their bouncing bomb as well. But Batman just trying to survive, just trying to get this dragon down. This would be the Soul Boy, but one more bouncing bomb not going to be able to find its way. Batman will secure it and actually looks to turn around. Mac Mittens is going to get taken down. Batman could look for more, but Nanites with that explosive, or with that satchel charge, going to be okay. But definitely teamfight going the way of Monkey Safari, but that's still soul point for Newsroom.
Cora continues to have a hard game this game, and honestly, it's hard to fault anything outside of the pick potentially because it's really hard to do anything as Cassiopeia this game without getting caught, and I still maintain that there's not a whole lot of damage from this Cassiopeia just yet. I mean, only level 13. I did check in with builds. It is, like, you do go Rylai's on Cassiopeia, but First, I'm not convinced still that it shouldn't be, Roa first. But a great fight from Newsroom despite losing the numbers, mostly off the back of Batman sticking around, securing that Drake. I mean, you've got Smite against no Smite, but a couple of nice dodges on some bouncing bombs there means that he maintains a health bar big enough, I guess it's red for us, but blue for himself, that allows him to take that Drake, that soul point like you mentioned, and it is Hex soul point. I was talking about it for the Ziggs, touched a little bit about it for Caitlyn. It's great for Monkey's Newsroom. There is so much.
Oh, Glove going to be able to jump immediately onto Korra. Already at half HP, Korra should just be going down. Killer Fox on the way. Petrifying Gaze not going to land, and Flash underneath the turret. Glove Tuppus Wubble with another solo kill. So many this entire series. Glove Tuppus Wubble just having an amazing series so far. As now Fenback could be the one getting caught. Ishtal's Impact not going to be able to land. But Mac Middens is still in the area. Dredgeline gonna be prevented, but now with the Impale, they should have more than enough damage. All 4 onto this Mundo, and they're just burning every ultimate onto this Mundo. Eventually, Fenback will go down, but they do lose their mid-tier 1 in reply. That was Falling Star and Depth Charge and Impale just for a 1-for-1 top laner.
Well, I mean, you're talking about ults being used. I was going to say I think we could have used one more there. I would have loved to have seen ult from Nanites to ult the mid wave to cancel out that siege in mid so that there's no trade for Monkey's Newsroom. It looks like continuing grouping Monkey Safari. It's Atacon now. This does not go down quickly. You are Skarner and Ziggs. No ASL, and even still ASL doesn't do a whole lot. It's going to take some time, but I think Newsroom don't know about this just yet.
Yeah, they're seemingly just sneaking it away. Batman and Korra are going to start blocking in that area about now, but it looks like they're taking the blue buff first. So, perfect sneak coming out of Monkey Safari. This is a major objective to just kind of get for free, especially like you said, with their team comp. This isn't something they should even be really able to get for free, and they didn't even bother to save Smite for it. Just gonna get autoed down by just Cooper. And at the same time, Frost also got a turn in the top side, so kind of wondering what's going on with the macro right now for Monkey's Newsroom.
Yeah, a bit of a criminal steal over there. Not a steal, sorry. Bit of a criminal sneak, I should say. The death for Korra before, it's even worse because you're not getting, like, XP. Like, you're not getting gold for these items, right? I know that sounds really stupid to say, but if Big News dies right now, despite... Sorry, let's say you can't take Baron after the fight. It doesn't really matter that much because he's got 3 items completed. Big News is in a fine position. But Korra is not in a fine position because it's still 5 stacks of Roa, Rylai's, and nothing else, basically. So you still really need time. You need gold. You need items. You really need levels as well. And yeah, you're going to get 1 from Roa, and it's looking more valuable now because of the time you've spent in the gray screen, which is not the best way to think about it. But, I mean, you kind of have to, right? I would love, like... I think for Newsroom, and this sounds crazy, I think for Newsroom, you give this straight. You say 4 minutes from now, we have Roa completed. He will have Seraphs completed. Sorry, Korra, she will have Seraphs completed. And most likely, maybe something else. Maybe 1 needlessly large rod. Maybe she's going to go towards Pan, or maybe it's going to be Zonya's. I think you give this Drake. I think we'll hold on.
As we say that, Killer Fox is going to be getting jumped upon. Looks like the Impale was actually used, so it's going to be Flash for Impale. Traded back. Summoner heal as well from Killer Fox's Fenback. Almost getting the solo kill onto Frost, but they do both survive and both do have teleport. No major cooldowns have been used by either of those solo laners, though. So at the end of the day, it could still go either way, but now Ishtal's Impact in the backline. Big News able to just flash out. As now Korra on the side, just trying to deal some damage. But Big News dealing DPS over top, and Nanites just continuously throwing those bombs. Mac Middens still surviving. Just Cooper going to be the next target. Big News gets everyone low, but no one's going down yet. Now Ace in the hole going to get blocked by Nanites. And Fenback just running into the back line, trying to get anything at all. As Big News, 1 more auto. Everyone is so low, but no one going down. Korra's going to be the first one. Dredgeline going to hit into the wall. Frost trying to dive in with a hero play, but headshot coming in. And in fact, they're even going to be able to trade back onto Macmid and Svenbach. Still looking for more. He's not going to be able to cancel. Nanites able to go back. Same with Glub, Tup, and Swevel. But now Big News and Killer Fox, they could try to just rush this down. They are quite strong. Big News dealing so much damage. 3 items. And Nanites is in the area. So is the Smite, though. If Just Cooper is able to get over the wall, it's 500 gold, but it's going to be going down. And now Just Cooper could even try to look for more. And the double kill coming out from Nanites. A Mega Inferno Bomb dealing so much damage. Fenbach now alone into 3. Batman now going to be in the area looking towards Just Cooper, but the Impale will find it. Ishtal's impact, I should say, as Just Cooper still in the area. Batman now trying to just back away, will be forced to flash. And it was a really, really close play, but Monkey Safari, they get the dragon, they get the fight, and Nanites 9-1-8 on this Ziggs.
I mean, there are a few points that I want to talk about during that fight. The first one is, I mean, everybody knows the meme, the push meme, right? I still think Fenbach in that fight should have given the Drake Monkey's Newsroom as a whole and pushed the tower. I think that Big News has reached a position now where he's really threatening if people are within range. And that's an if, right? But the double kill from the Mega Inferno Bomb at the end was so nice to see. Just Cooper is able to come out of base just in time to find the Smite. Positions around Baron here.
Fox. That feels actually really big. That gives blue buff to everyone.
Blue buff and red buff, and that, like, you've already got Warmogs, so more out of combat healing. Well, out of team fight, I should say, sorry. Healing for Monkey's Newsroom. But the blue buff to Caitlyn, the blue buff to Cora feels really, really nice. Looks like Frost is sailing in.
Out right now. They could be looking towards Killer Fox, but Big News kind of zoned away, not able to help the support. But now Glove, Thomas Level kind of alone in the backline, will be forced to flash. Matt Mitten's going to be taking a few autos as well, and not going to be able to get enough damage with the Piltover Peacemaker. Just Cooper also getting pushed down, but no one's going down yet. Frost, half HP! Just from one trap auto. Now Cora coming in with the Petrifying Gaze. No, never mind, just the Noxious Blast so far. Mac Mitten's gonna get slowed down, and these Fangs just coming out, taking everyone with them. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Monkey's Newsroom, and they're pinging onto the Baron. I think they want the big purple worm.
I mean, there's Hex Gates in the game here, so maybe Just Cooper can get over. Nanite still has Mega Inferno Bomb, but this is burning so fast down with the damage that Cora finally has now, and the damage that Udyr can do at this point in the game. I think, like, I understand what Safari wants to do, right? In their mind, we can never pull Baron because we do 0 damage to Baron. On the other side, obviously, we just saw how much damage Monkey's Newsroom does do to Baron. A lot. It's a lot, right? This is a level 17 now. Finally, Roa has been finished. Cassiopeia, that absolutely melts the Baron. So I understand, you can't pull Baron. What's the option? Okay, well, we take the fight and then do Baron after. We want to play for the fight and not the objective because we can't burst it down. Fine, I understand that too. The problem is, number 1, you don't have Flash on Ziggs. Number 2, you don't have upgraded ult for ASOL, right? That's a huge big deal. And number 3, enemy Cassiopeia has just finished Roa, right? So this, like, the comp from Monkey's Newsroom is at a point right now for the next bit where until Rabadon gets finished for both of these, I'll say mages, before the Flashes comes back up for Nanites, for Just Cooper, it was down as well for him, and Frost was, I believe, forced to flash during that fight, maybe also had flash down too. You need to scale up this ASOL ult, then you can take a fight. Instead, the fight's a bit split.
They could look for something here, but just gonna use the Dredge Line to safety. But the Dragon is gonna be spawning about 55 seconds, so with this mid priority, Monkey's Newsroom, they could look to just take this soul for themselves. And if they have the setup, I think it is pretty hard for Monkey Safari to approach them.
I was talking a little bit earlier about what's Caitlyn's like biggest benefit, her biggest positive, and it's exactly what you can see right there where Big News is. It's these trap lines. It's denying access to areas. when you have Prio as Caitlyn, and you are first into an objective mostly, and you can like trap line a choke, it is next to impossible to get in. I mean, yes, Just Cooper can tank a trap and probably a trap auto, but not more than that because Just Cooper has like no armor basically, very, very little armor. Merc Treads, Spirit Visage, Unending Despair, Heartsteel. There's very low armor on this Skarner. So Caitlyn will rip you to pieces, and even then you're still stunned. Well, top lane fight down here in bot.
Fennback hasn't burned the ultimate, gonna burn the maximum dosage now, and Glove Top as well will take so much damage. Fennback super strong, just taking even more charges right now. Just has full control of this bottom lane. Ignite was used by the Renekton as well, so Glove Top as well not gonna be in this fight at all, not gonna be able to approach, and Fennback just playing defense. You're trying to keep Just Cooper off of this, and Killer Fox going to kill the Blast. That's going to be the Dragon Soul going the way of Monkey's Newsroom, and they did not have control this entire game, and then as soon as they got that fight, they got the Baron. It seems to be entirely going Monkey's Newsroom now. Oh, but Cora with the
flash forward from goal.
Cooper not going to be able to find it, but that's a big ultimate and summoner used. This is going to give quite a bit of space for Monkey's Newsroom.
It's hard. It's a hard position for Monkey Safari, but the good thing is they do have that upgraded Sky's Descent, and the wave clear with ASOL Ziggs is really, really strong. No more Baron left. Bottom tier 2 will fall. Mac Mittens
taking a decent amount of damage, but a flank over in that bottom lane, as I believe Cora is getting jumped upon right now, kind of in the middle of everyone. The Sky's Descent, but Cora will go golden. Is okay for now. Dredgeline will land onto the back line, but Monsoon trying to buy a little bit of space, and now Glove Top as well, doing so much damage. Mega Inferno Bomb gets the double, and now Frost still looking for big news when Auto will trade back, but that's a 3 for nothing. And how much can they get on this? There's no objectives on the map, but there are some turrets that they could still try and rush towards.
50 seconds on the respawns. With Ziggs, do you think this is an end possibility? There's still 30 seconds on Batman, 40 seconds on damage. Well, the bomb's been used right there. Without any demolish procs, it's pretty hard. You don't have much of a wave. But Monkey Safari are walking in. They're going to at least get this inhib. Maybe a tier 2 in the bot lane is the option. As with no wave left over, it seems basically impossible to end the game. But the worry for me is it's a minute until Baron. It looks like not even this tier 2 is going to be taken for Monkey Safari. So it's only really a little bit of gold. Some shutdowns. You have a gold lead now, but you're still against Hex Soul. I think it's really going to come down to the, like, who is first? Who has priority? Who is first into this Baron pit? Is it the Caitlyn with the Cassiopeia? Walking blind into Cassiopeia.
Fennback?
Walk onto the miasma field. Hold on, Fennback.
Yeah, just it forces the flash out of Nana. He's going to be trading 1-for-1 as Mac Mittens gonna get hit by the final briefcase. And now the stars, the falling star is going to land. Fennback still alive. Going to burn the maximum dosage now. Still alive. Still surviving too. Big news is here. The autos are starting to come down. Just Cooper taking a decent amount of damage over top. The stun's going to be there as well. Singularity buying space. The AoE slow really doing its job, but that's a lot of major cooldowns burned on the side of Monkey Safari. Glove Top as well takes so much from Ace in the hole as well. That's going to be the mid-tier 2 going down. And Baron is up in 10 seconds. I actually think that Monkey's Newsroom could go for it.
I think Monkey's Newsroom, Fennback mostly. Brilliant play. If this was intentional, which I'm going to assume it was, walks forward, and even if he dies, it's still worth in my opinion. Or even if he gets really low, first of all, it's guaranteed worth because of Warmogs. But he cancels all the resets. So Safari have no tempo on the map to walk into this Baron. And this is pretty much gone. Despite Just Cooper flashing in, but he doesn't even have flash, so it's taken by Monkey's Newsroom. A tempo trap.
For the fight.
Does have upgraded Sky's Ascend here for Frost if he wants to go towards that. Elder in 2.5 minutes. Baron is going to wear off basically just before that. You've got maybe a 20-second window before Baron ends. Sorry, after Baron ends. So yeah, before Baron ends when Elder spawns. So you're not going to use too much of Baron for that. I know that we've seen Frost do a ton of damage but I would be very interested to see how much damage at the end of this game, because I'm really confused by the build path of this Assault. I think not having Leandries against Mundo, I feel like you just need double Leandries this game against Mundo. I would, like, we were talking about the Bork before, which I think would be lovely.
Yeah, but now Batman going in, gonna get hit by the Ishtal's impact, but there's not too much follow-up onto this Udyr. Killer Fox is going to be here to keep Batman safe as well. And they're just going to be able to muscle their way into the bot lane jungle. And now they're setting up a 1-3-1. It's going to be Core in the top side, Fenback over in the bot lane. And you mentioned before, they do have really strong wave clear with Asol and Ziggs. But that's only 2 of the 3 lanes. Glove Top of Swapple not going to be able to clear too much. And if Fenback is able to trade as well, like, this Renekton's just not really going to be much of a threat. Not going to be able to pressure too much, but Monkey's Newsroom, they're going to decide to reset instead, maybe wanting to get their final items, as we do see Mauve Malmortius coming out for big news, just trying to get that extra MR into the double mage composition. They still have a little bit of time on Baron, a minute and a half, so they could try to make their play with these next couple waves.
And Nanites is full build, so this Ziggs isn't going anywhere in terms of XP and items. And that is a pretty decent build. Very, very strong. No defense or no, Zhonya's. But I think in this game, you need all the damage you can get. Rabadons, Pan, Leandries. As much damage on Fenback as you can possibly do. Remember, it's still Hex Soul, which chains off minions. And this Baron.
I mean, we see how much these briefcases hurt now. One thing I know a lot of people don't actually know, but Mundo's briefcases deal damage based off of Mundo's current HP. So when Fenback is max HP, these briefcases do like 600-700 damage each. And we're even seeing that they're onto Mac Minutes, just very noticeably losing health every single time that does come through. Now, the passive has been broken so far, so Fenback gonna lose the spell shield for a little while as the Elder has spawned. So either of these two teams, whoever gets it, is definitely going to be quite favored in these fights. Fenback just trying to trade a little bit. Mac Middens taking down low as well. All this poke just coming through from Monkey's Newsroom, and they've actually pulled the Elder, and it looks like they're just going to be able to take it. Fenback has bought more than enough space. Batman now going to jump over the wall, and now Elder going in favor of Monkey's Newsroom. Can Fenback try and kind of catch someone? Ace in the hole over top, looking for Mac Middens. They just need a couple more autos, and Mac Middens just gonna get taken down. Just Cooper could be the next target. Impale already found its way. The Skies Descend hits onto all 5. And Petrifying Gaze does as well, but Frost gonna be the next to fall. Nanite super low as well from Killer Fox. Just Cooper's gone, and it's only Nanites left alive. Ace in the hole still on cooldown, but Fenback is able to just kind of run Nanites down. One more auto for the style points, and despite having the lead for most of the game, Safari's gonna go down. Monkey's Newsroom, they're 2-0, and they're gonna be taking us to match point.
Elder, Baron, and Hexol. What more could you want to take down your enemy? So much slows, so much poke, and the execute as the cherry on top. Newsroom. A game that is really important going into playoffs, into potentially semis, potentially finals, because you are really out of the game. I think that Safari, last game, there was a lot to critique. This game, there's not a whole lot that's surface level to touch on and say comp this, comp that. Okay, maybe a bit of Mundo damage, maybe could have been a Leandries for Frost, but mostly I think I'm crediting Newsroom for basically the way they won that game was Hexol. How'd they get that? Well, early dragon stacking, right? That's what your comp needs to do with Caitlyn Pryor. And finding Pryor around objective. Getting Caitlyn in early, setting up trap lines, securing these later Drakes, finding a late find onto, I believe, it was the whole team of Safari, right? Fenbuck stopping the bases before Baron. Doesn't even need to find a kill. I believe they did take down Mac Mittens there, who had a bit of a hard game, but what are you supposed to do, right? Nautilus late game.
Behind.
Your paper, right? You walk into the Baron, you walk in, take the inhib, you try to reset, Fenback stops your bases, stops your health from regenning. Now, Newsroom have prior around the Baron. It melts in about 2 seconds with Cassiopeia, Udyr, Caitlyn, and obviously Janna with did go Ardent Sensor eventually. Then the same thing happens. You're just stuck in your base the whole game. Yeah, you can clear the waves. Enemy team can't end with Baron. They can't really do anything. But you're just scaling. Level 18 Cassiopeia, Roa finished, 6 items Caitlyn, and despite the 6 item Ziggs, it doesn't really matter because Elder, I think that fight at the end for Safari was really good. Like, what, a
Yeah.
3-4 man knockup with Skies Ascend, Great and Pale. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Hexol, Elder. You can see the value of Hexol at the end there, by the way, because maybe there's a potential no Baron, you have Elder, you can just clear the waves with Ziggs and Asol, but McMittens is caught by literally one briefcase. Actually, no, it was the ult from Caitlyn. It was the ace in the hole. Finds the Hex Soul slow, the AoE slow. Then briefcase from Fenback hits McMittens as well. Another slow AoE. And now you can't run away to your towers. Your HP is too low. The Elder takes you out. I think it was a great game from both teams for this next game. I think just keep the same thing. Obviously, not the same thing, but keep the same identity, right? If you want to go late game for Safari, I like it. I like these like space control comps from Newsroom. But I think it's, in every game, it's hard to talk about where to go later on in Fearless. My main point, though, for Newsroom is I think Cora needs to lock in for this early game because that damage on Cassiopeia, it's pretty rough, pretty harsh. If your top laner and AD carry didn't perform as well as they did, you really didn't do anything. It's just something to consider for Newsroom. Like, what are you going to put Cora on? I'm sure that there's things later on here, but we'll have to see.
And we will definitely see. But for now, we're going to go to a short break. And when we come back, it could be the potential 3-0 coming out of Monkey's Newsroom, or we're going to see Monkey Safari start to bring this series back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. And we are back with this best of 5 where Monkeys Newsroom are currently up 2-0 against their sister team Monkeys Safari. And they win one more. They're going straight to the semis. And Jay Beto, what are your thoughts coming into this third game?
I think Monkey Safari had great looks in that game, but Monkey's Newsroom at the end came out on top with mostly their macro. Not map movement in terms of side lanes, but how they played their team fights, where they were set up and how they set up, how they won their setup. And that's hard to go into for Safari. I think that they have shown they can draft in a way that gets them wins in terms of how strong they looked through the early game. If they were able to get 4 Hex Drakes, because it would have been 4 to them, plus Hex Soul with Ziggs, they were in a great position to win that game. They had scaling on their side. I think it was maybe itemization choices that we talked about. Bork here, Leandri's there, and mostly how you played the map around objectives.
Yeah, but I mean, even despite that, they definitely, like you said, had really good looks. I mean, they basically fully shut down Korra. Whether that was because of Korra's play or whether that was because of draft or whether that was just because Safari just played extremely well to shut them down. That remains to be debated, but the reality is that's what they did. And they got pretty strong wins. Glove Tuppus Weppel getting solo kills both games so far was completely immovable in game 1. They still ended up going down because the rest of the map kind of faltered, but that could be their strong point, and I'm wondering if they want to try playing a little bit more into it. Because, especially in game number 1, where we had that Tom Kench versus Nara matchup, that's not one that Tom Kench is really known to win, but Glub Tuppus Webber just absolutely crushed that matchup. And then the Renekton Mundo matchup, Glub Tuppus Webber won it for a while, and then when Mundo finally got over that power curve where Mundo starts winning at a Renekton, still managed to find a couple plays through the mid lane, still managed to find a couple plays through the bot lane. I mean, Safari definitely looked really strong in game 2, and I think we can both agree that game 1 was just a complete wash. That was just draft difference. Yeah. It was completely unplayable. I mean, so I think this could still be a close series, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do pull out in this third game that could be that X factor for them.
I mean, Glub Tuppus Weppel is a good point to talk about because, like you said, had great showings in both lanes. The first one was quite a difficult lane. The second one, early, very Renekton favored. However, both times, Fenbach just had a better team fighting look. And Renekton's not typically... Sorry, that was really loud. Renekton is not typically going to be out team fought by Mundo, but it was just because no one could really shut down the Mundo, right? No one could really answer it in a convincing way. It has been a side swap. So Monkey Safari opting this time for red side. And I'm only going to mention it shortly because I talk about it every time I see this. I just hate when you swap sides and your bans stay the same. It tells me that you can't play the things, you can't play against them either. So you can't play them and you have no answer for them either. It's just, I don't know, it's a weakness, I think.
I mean, definitely, and it's 5 out of the 6 bans are the same. I think Ivern is the only one that is popping in that wasn't there before. But Azir does go through. And I think that's exactly what you said, because I do believe Monkey's Newsroom was banning the Azir earlier.
Yeah.
But now they don't have to. Now they can lock it in for Korra. And you said you wanted to see Korra on something else. I think this Azir should be good, because the Akali was very difficult to play. Obviously, in the mid to late game, Korra ended up playing it pretty well, found kind of her role within the team. And then game number 2 with the Cassiopeia, it's just very hard to position properly. So much poke, so much range. Azir will always find a place in the team comp. Now it's answered on Safari by Maokai and Syndra, but this just shows to me that this is a pretty even mid lane in terms of champ pick.
You're going to need some strong AD here for Monkey's Newsroom on this 3 pick. Now, typically into the Azir in pro play, we see Talia very often. Great pick against the Azir. And when that's banned, it has tended to be the Annie of recent times. But it's the Syndra for Frost, which doesn't have like a straight up like counter. Obviously, Talia, the Unraveled Earth, Seismic Shove, and the Annie getting that guaranteed stun. You're hiding in a bush, you have great auto range against Azir, good push early game. The Syndra is just going to have decent range, like outranges the Azir early. and has decent scaling, but it's MF and Ash trade here. Now, Monkey's Safari might be lacking a bit of damage here. Syndra does a lot of burst, and Azir can cook if given time, but Monkey's Newsroom have great late game scaling with Azir, a great ult combo with Sejuani, MF. I think Safari needs something that's really going to land, whether it's Maokai jungle or Maokai support. I think you need something strong in the top lane, save your counter pick, and maybe it's Maokai support and something strong in the jungle.
Yeah, but I mean, kind of like how we've been talking about earlier, this would be a great opportunity for Glub Tuppus Wapple to just kind of really show what they can do. And it is going to be Maokai in the jungle, as we do see the Alistar locked in for Monkey Safari. But the question is, does Glub Tuppus Wapple play those carries? Because so far it's just been two really, well, Renekton kind of a bruiser, but even so, like, Renekton's still like the frontline champ. It's not the Gwen, it's not the Fiora, which are kind of the big carries coming out of top lane. I mean, Rumble is an option, but we see the Ambessa locked in for Monkey's Newsroom, so it really depends on what the matchup is like. Jax is still available. I think Jax does okay into Ambessa as well, but this is gonna bring damage if Glub Tuppus Wapple is able to dish it out. It's always so difficult to find the placement in team fights for Darius, especially in competitive. But if anyone can do it on Monkey Safari, it's got to be Glub Tuppus Wapple, right?
Yeah, I think that matchup early is going to be pretty favored for the Darius, regardless of what happens. But man, I just love Newsroom's comp. It's got great range with Azir. It has so much hard engage with Ambessa ult, with Glacial Prison, with all of Rel's kit. It's got, I mean, you can engage with Azir. You've got AoE damage with MF and Azir. You've got single target damage if you want it to. I think this is going to come down to Monkey's Newsroom's individual play. If Azir falls behind significantly, it doesn't do a whole lot, right? If Glub Tuppus Wapple has a standout performance on this Darius, Ambessa is not one of those champions, in my opinion, where you just get to go down 1,000 gold, 2,000 gold, and show up to the team fights and really impact it. Okay, yeah, you're going to land ult, you're going to land public execution, but I don't think that's enough in this comp. I think that Alistar is great into Rel, so that makes a ton of sense. It's good in lane. Obviously, it's harder in lane because you don't really get to do anything, but the entire job of Alistar is to stop Rel from engaging. So I think that on Monkey Safari, it's a lot of individual play. On Monkey's Newsroom, it's a lot of individual play. Whether McMinn's can have a great game answering the engage, if just Cooper can be in the right position at the right time, if these lanes get leads, if Korra can have a great performance. I think these drafts are really good. It's good to see Game 3 of a Fearless still have, honestly, solid drafts.
I mean, I think these both might be the best drafts we've seen from either of these two teams so far. And that does say something, because game number 2, those are some pretty solid drafts as well. But, I mean, I gotta say, I personally favor Monkey's Newsroom's draft here, because I'm trying to find a weakness within the draft, and the only weakness I can really think about is hard losing top lane, which, if Fenback plays properly, it should be able to farm up enough to at least kill the enemy AD carry. You can always rely on killing the AD carry. That's just something every top laner will always be able to do. And then, at the same time, gonna be a little bit weak in the mid lane, the mid jungle, in the early game. But after the early game, Monkey's Newsroom, they're just super powerful. Basically, no weakness within the draft. Ambessa is gonna be super strong on the side, gonna be super strong in the team fight. Batman on the Sejuani, super strong engage. And then Korra for the scaling. Big news for the early game or the AoE after. I mean, they just have so many tools at their disposal. The execution's very obvious when you look at it. There, you don't need to do any like tricky flanks or kind of outmaneuvers. You just play regular League of Legends, just very standard play, and you're just going to come out on top. Whereas for Monkey's Safari, like you said, they kind of do need to try either to get picks or just get super ahead early. If they do that, I think they definitely have a very strong snowball composition, and I think that's where the strength lies, but does mean they have a little bit less room for error than Monkey's Newsroom.
I think this Newsroom comp might be one of the best comps I've seen in in Amateur League in a long time. Like, this comp looks like T1 could be playing it. Like, you could put the T1 names under these champions, and I would be like, yeah, this is a T1 draft. And then I look on the other side. This is, like, one of the best things about this comp for Newsroom is Alistair answers a lot of the engage really well. The problem is, he does it once, and there's so much engage from Newsroom. He disallows Rel. Batman comes in. He disallows Batman. And Bessa ult lands onto your backline. Like, it's so difficult to protect your Ashe this game. I love the Braum ban away, as like the Braum would have been really nice because it's not a kind of one peel answer. It does stop a lot of what Monkey's Newsroom want to do. So great ban away. But here we are, game 3.
Yeah, and a pretty interesting difference already where both of these two games we have seen at least mini invades coming into play. I think in game number 1, Safari's the one that grouped us 5, and then Newsroom in game 2. But this time they're just both playing safe, doing the 5-point defense. Mac Midden's obviously just gonna be knocking on that cowbell. It's pretty much mandatory when you play Alex. You just gotta be always rocking out to the cowbell. There we go.
You have to go to skin too.
Oh, definitely.
You have to have that skin. Wow, so like it's one of the things. It's like if you don't have the I don't know what the skin's name is, but the
Fisherman Jax.
the Rumble skin.
Oh, oh, I'm actually not sure which one you're talking about for that one.
The hyper like that one who talks like that. You know the one I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I forget what it's called though.
I'll have to
I don't play too much.
But yeah, if you don't
anymore.
have, I don't know, if you don't have that skin, it's just the one that pro player picks all the time. But I think on the invades, you've got like strong level 1s for both and weaknesses in level 1s for both too, right? Because MF really wants to be in lane, bouncing off minions. Ashe is really strong level 1, but Alice is really weak level 1. Darius is really strong level 1. Maokai, Syndra, they're okay. So I think neither team is really that confident to step up and look for an aggressive ward. If you're caught by one of the strengths, if one of your weaknesses is caught by one of the enemy team's strengths on either side, I think you feel really bad. Looks like Frost took a really bad trade early, has to pop a pot and concede that level 1 really early.
Yeah, I mean, the lethal tempo is always so good level 1. And I think that might just be the difference there. Lethal tempo just being stronger than electrocute, very difficult to proc the electrocute. And by the time you do, the lethal tempo is just fully stacked up, so the trade always ends up going negative. But Frost should be able to kind of build up after that. Once level 2 hits, once level 3 hits, which they already are there in the mid lane, as we actually get the apprehend on defend back, but obviously has a million dashes on the invest end. That is the tricky part about trying to get this lead in the top side, because whenever a trade looks good, Ambessa can just hop, jump, and skip away.
So it's Super Galaxy Rumble. That was the skin I was talking about.
Yes,
that's the name of it. There's just Cooper. Pathing down. Could catch Korra's flash here.
Yeah, level 3. Actually, no E has been taken, and now they're just going to throw with Scatter the Weekend. First blood going to Frost. Just immediate burst coming in. As now we see over in the top side, pretty heavy trading from both top laners. And Batman is nearby, but there is a war, so Batman shouldn't be able to get this gank off. And Glub, Tuppus Weapon, going to be forced to reset on a frozen wave save. And now Just Cooper is here. They're looking towards Mac Mittens now, but now Pulverize is going to buy a little bit of space. Nanites trying to slow on to Killer Fox, just needs a little bit more. And Just Cooper going to be able to get that kill. And Nanites is super low as well. So it is a kill going over to Monkey Safari. But again, the wave just in a really bad state, and big news. Should be pretty happy with this.
Glove top. Oh, hold on. Frost.
Frost is going to be next. And now there's going to be the Arctic Assault. Almost has the freeze, but not going to be able to land it. So that's actually flash burned by Batman. That's the result of that trade.
I think Batman missed maybe the second hit of W or the first hit. Just didn't get enough stacks for that stun. But yeah, fighting all over the map right now in the early game. Only four and a half minutes in. Multiple flashes burned.
Oh.
And there's a solo kill. Wait, did Korra try to dive?
I mean, I think this might have just been a Scatter the Weak maybe, and just big damage coming out from Frost. I mean, we're going to be able to see it right now. And yeah, just
under the tower.
Yeah, just the shifting sands or the conquering sands, just trying to get that little bit of extra poke as the Scatter the Weak came out. Bit unlucky, but huge kill for Frost right now. 2-0 in the mid lane.
No TP as well means you're going to lose all those minions in this next wave. But, I mean, the wave was pretty decent for Korra, so it's fine. Mittens caught a little bit here. Will not get stunned, actually. The slows from Nanites is coming in, but I don't know if it's enough for Just Cooper to rotate over in time. Nice E, throw that bird at him. Do a little bit of scare tactics there, make sure you reveal them. But, I mean, a great start right now for Monkey Safari. I mean, it's a lot of these summoner spells have been burnt, right? Flash on mid jungle, support, exhaust used as well, sorry. Both TPs have already been used. But it's 3-0 in terms of kills. And this lane is fine now for bot lane. As long as you don't get ganked by Sejuani, Alistar is in a great position to either engage, but mostly just to completely stop Rel from engaging. That's the job right now. No cleanse on... Oh, pardon me. On Ashe means that McMinn's really has to be on top of this peel.
Yeah, but one thing I do want to bring up is they did have that successful gank taking down Killer Fox earlier, but I mentioned how bad the wave state was. Look at the CS difference right now between Nanites and Big News. It's going to get even out a little bit by this wave, but there's only 6 minions in that wave. So 50 to 26, massive gap right now. So, and just something for you to remember in your solo queue games as well as anyone who wants to play competitive. Wave state matters so much more than kills in any of these side lanes. Now, there is going to be a ward blocked off there. So a Glob Top of Swabble could always just come back and clear that. And it does so much denial. Fenback cannot see any potential gank, doesn't know if just Cooper's in the area. And it gives the vision for Glob Top of Swabble. Just very strong area overall. As now we're seeing a trade in the mid lane. And now Killer Fox gets knocked up underneath the turret. And now they're looking for more. The unleashed power gonna come out in one final auto needed for the kill. Mac Middens looks to be next on the chopping block, and it is 1-for-1 so far. Just Cooper looking for more with a Bramble Smash. As Just Cooper takes a lot of damage, and Korra XTC gonna be able to get the kill. And just like that, it was a 2-for-1, and Korra's back on the board.
Yeah, finding the first one, all good. Stun there, not enough damage just of right now. Oh my god, Frost, be careful. But yeah, Just Cooper goes back in at the end. I think that's a big mistake from him. Didn't need to do that at all. Gives Korra a kill on this Azir. Feels pretty bad. But yeah, talking about that, pardon me, talking about what you were mentioning, I think it's 14 CS on average is the equivalent to a solo kill. Around about the same amount of gold. Obviously, it depends on which minions it is and if a cannon was involved in there. But Glob Toughest, low mana.
Not a lot of mana left on this Darius, though. So Fenback, once those stacks expire, could look to fight there. But doesn't seem like that's going to be the case right now. Pretty even CS in the top lane, too. So it looks like pretty even trades. But again, this bot lane, it's still very much going in favor of Newsroom right now. And we've seen what Big News can do when they get a lead.
The good thing for Monkey Safari is that it is 3 kills for Frost, which is going to really accelerate the stacking for Syndra, which is always something that you want to have happen because eventually this Azir is going to outscale you. Not in terms of range, obviously, if you're caught by one of the stuns from Syndra, then obviously then, but the front-to-back damage from Azir, the shuffle, I think it's such a fun champion to watch because it's a mechanically demanding champion where you need to be able to perform on it for it to be really good, and that's why that it's maintained such a presence in pro play in recent years. Obviously, it's been buffed recently after getting nerfed, so it's stronger than it was in the last couple of months. Just Cooper taking a ton of damage here from Korra already.
Yeah, they will be able to secure grubs on the side of Monkey's Newsroom, and this is starting to look a little bit similar to that first game where Monkey Safari, they were able to get a lot of early kills, but Monkey's Newsroom just had full control of the objectives. And right now, that's kind of been the repeat as Nanites getting run down. Both ultimates are still available. And one of the fun little interactions in this lane is if you have both time available, is actually Batman gets a kill in the top side. And they must have gone just straight in because Fenback is already trading. Very close. Batman going to be coming in right now. Flash Glacial Prison, and that's all she wrote. Batman going to be able to easily secure that kill. I mean, very good roam and very good gank coming out from Batman.
I mean, we've been talking about Globtopper Sweppel the entire time during this set, and this feels like the game he needs to perform on. Has
Oh, Bramble
a
Smash on a
champion
big
hold
news.
that
There
for Big
are
News.
3 members down here. Glacial Arrow over the top, and actually, Nanites gonna go
Oh,
down.
no.
Big News will at least be able to get a kill back and trying to run away. Almost had the movement speed with Strut, but Mac Midden's gonna be able to get that one final auto to get the kill. As now Globtopper Sweppel looking to run down Fenback once again with the Noxious Guillotine. The burn is on its way. Fenback tries to flash out to safety and will be able to survive. The little bit of healing from the Doran Shield is going to be enough. As now Mac Middens knocks up Killer Fox. Do they have enough damage with just Frost, though? As they will have more help. Dangerous Grasp is going to be on its way. Bramble Smash. Killer Fox should be the next target, and Just Cooper going to secure that kill. As Cora just going to dash out to safety. So 1-for-1 across the map as even more fighting. Fenback versus Globtopper Sweppel once again. And again, no one goes down. Just a ton of brawling across the map. But everything said and done, it seems like Safari, at the very least, going to be able to take down this Ocean Drake.
Batman's in the area. Just doesn't have Smite. I think it's a few seconds away from ticking over.
And
he
we'll
does
get
have it
the
now.
steal.
Wow.
But now, can Batman get out? Big News is in the area. Could look to do a bullet time over the wall. And actually, the rest of the team started group. Core's in the area. Killer Fox gonna be getting the crash down. And the bullet time only hitting on a Mac Minute. Cora trying to get the kill. Headbutt Pulverize going to prevent it. But now Just Cooper gonna be there. And actually, Batman's gonna be the first to go down. Cora looks for the Shurima Shuffle. Not gonna be able to get it. Now it's gonna be the next target instead. And Shattering Strike will get that kill for Big News. So it is a 2-for-1 and a massive steal coming out of Batman.
It's just heartbreak for Monkeys. Hold on. Globtopper
Fenback
doesn't
getting
have ult
run
available.
down again. Has enough space to just run it out, but we're seeing how scary this Darius is. 0-1-0 and still just putting on absolute pressure in the top side.
The thing is, though, about this lane, and I'll touch on that in a second, but I want to talk about that fight down in bot a little bit earlier. Because, oh, hold on. Matt,
Yep, they
have
have
here.
the Scatter of the Week. They're looking for more, and Killer Fox will get taken down by the trample. Mac Minutes could get traded back, and one more auto is needed. And Cora, I don't think that's worth it.
This just keeps happening, Toki. Down there in the bot, like I was just about to talk about. No, no, another fight here.
You're not allowed to speak quite yet. They're looking for the stun. Should be able to land it right down with the permafrost. And now the public execution. One more auto, giving that kill off to the Ambessa, and Fenback gonna be able to get that solo kill as Cora almost goes down in the mid lane. Unleash Power still on cooldown, but Frost still in the area, could look for it, but doesn't have Scatter of the Week, doesn't have Unleash Power, not able to secure it.
So here's the thing about all these fights, right? The one in bot lane, when Nanites is down there, Big News finds the kill on Nanites in the 3v1 it was, but the kill goes to Mac Mittens. Up here in the top lane, yes, the Darius is looking strong in terms of push in wave, but you're down in CS. Obviously, you've died twice, but now a kill for Fenbach, and you will not ever find as much value as the Ambessa will later on in the game. Darius is way harder to find fights with. It's way harder to team fight with in general. Ambessa just presses R. I know that Ambessa can have like some mechanically demanding fights, but just press R on Ashe. Again, another brawl in the top lane, but in that mid lane, yes, it's 3 kills for Frost, but it's McMittens again with the kill. Cora finds the kill onto McMittens, so another support kill for red side here, Monkeys Safari, and another kill over to an important carry for Monkeys Newsroom, and obviously that dragon stolen away from Batman over the wall. The team fight at this point for Monkey Safari just doesn't look convincing. You don't have really anywhere enough damage. It's all on Syndra, right? You're going as well AP Maokai because you don't really have enough damage in this Ashe. So Maokai's super squishy. Nature's Grasp is available, but looks like Monkey's Newsroom playing pretty safe right now. Big News finds a ward. Let's walk up.
Oh, Nanites with the bullet time. Gonna be taking a lot of damage. Always gets taken down, but now Nature's Gods is gonna be here. Flash away from, but the headbutt Pulverize still gonna be in the area. Twisted Advance will follow. Saving the trample. Just so much CC in this bot side. And it looks like they're just going to give it over to Just Cooper. And that's a shutdown. That's a lot of gold, but unfortunately, it is just the tank Maokai. As now Korra looking for the play, will be able to knock back Frost. One more auto for the stun, and public execution not even going to be needed. Batman going to secure that kill in the mid lane. As, again, just more brawling across the map.
I mean, at least it wasn't McMittens that got that shutdown this time, got that kill. But in the mid lane, Frost, you are the member of your team that needs to stay alive in these plays. You're trying to bail out your bot lane. You have to play safe. Caught by Batman, by Korra, and Fenbach was rotating in as well. Missed public execution, but it, pardon me, doesn't really matter. Kill goes over to Batman, which, I mean, maybe you can say you're happy about. Look at these gold leads, right? Even in jungle, even in mid. Pretty decent lead for Fenbach, but bot lane is just so winning for Monkey's Newsroom. And MF went Collector. Typically you see the BT, but with this much of a lead and this squishy of a comp, Collector is just so valuable early as they take this tier 1 tower 15 minutes in, already falling down more gold. That's 2k lead for Big News.
Yeah, that's almost a full item already in as an advantage going out for Big News. But now the next dragon is, I believe, spawned. It is going to be the Hextech Drake. And I also believe this could end up being the feast. But now the Nature's Grass is going to be coming out over top. As now the Magnet Storm in the backline. Killer Fox with the crash out on the way out. Frost still alive. Batman trying to get that kill, but Killer Fox is going to be the first to go down. Now Nanites is here with the Permaslow. Same with Glove, top as level. As the bullet time not going to get too much value. Just Cooper going to be able to flash away. Big News will get Nanites for it. Public execution in the backline. But so far it is 3 for 2. Do they still want to fight this? It is just Glove, top to Swubble with the damage. The exhaust is going to be there on Korra. As Fenbach just trying to flash away, trying to get back to safety. And Korra just diving right in. Will even put up the turn. And now Mac Minutes is going to be the next to go down. Glove Thomas Webble is alone. And it was a 2v3, but triple kill going the way of Korra. And it's an ace for Monkey's Newsroom.
In the start of the fight looks so good for Safari. But like I said, Frost is your damage. As soon as he falls down, that's it. And Glob Topper's Weapon, sure, does have a ton of damage, but not from range, and Azir will kite you to your death. Fenbach, great slows, great ult. Korra, maybe caught here, no, has dashed to safety, but saved ult for that entire time for the perfect moment. And what looked like a winning fight for Safari turns into disaster as Korra finds a triple kill in second Drake for Newsroom.
And I will give Korra a lot of praise for that final fight because she did what a lot of even pros cannot do. And that's like exactly what you said. Not use the Emperor's Divide for a fancy play early on. Because we see it so often. We even saw it at MSI where the Azir just is dealing free damage, but for some reason just feels the need to dash in and knock everyone back and then just goes down immediately. And Korra just definitely recognizing that right now, she's probably the strongest champion on the field when it comes to just flat DPS. Just being able to dish it out for free is the only thing that matters. The Emperor's Divide was only used at the end just to prevent Glub, Tuppus Weppel, and just Cooper from exiting the fight. But at that point, the fight was already won, so definitely want to give a huge shout out to that.
Yeah, oftentimes it is exactly how you said. You're going to do more damage by just sitting there and front to backing. Bit of the Faker syndrome, looking for a road, but, you know, you are not Faker. Brilliant ult, though, from Korra. Herald being started up by Monkey Safari. Killer Fox, sorry, is in the area. Batman 2. Nature's Grass comes out.
Yeah, and they're just going to be able to secure this Herald. Bullet time over the top, though, dealing a lot of damage. They could look to re-engage. Korra is pretty far away. It is 4v5 for now, but she is on the way. As Fenbach fighting with Just Cooper for now. Going to get knocked up and still alive. Will get taken out with the Noxious Guillotine. But look at the Magnet Storm and Glacial Prison. So much damage coming out over top. But Glove, toughest weapon, looking for Big News. Will get taken down mid-Guillotine. And now Mac Mid is going to be the next one to fall. Triple kill going the way of Big News. They get the objective, but they lose so much. And Frost's recall gets canceled. Batman looking for the dive in, looking for Big News though, and the turret is going to secure that kill. But Killer Fox will get taken out as well. So good trade for Frost, but it's still a 4 for 3. And most likely going to be the turret over on the top side is now Core XTC just wailing onto Just Cooper. A lot of damage. Bramble Smash though. Gets return of one more auto. Cora XTC going to be able to get that kill. At the very least, Just Cooper will save this mid-tier 2, but so much gold going the way of Monkey's Newsroom.
And triple kill for Cora and the fight at bot side. It's a triple kill for Big News around the Herald. Herald was taken by Safari. And Fenbach was taken down. A nice turret defense before it falls in the top from Frost to find the double kill for themselves. But look at that gold lead. Now, I mean, it was even in mid before. Cora is very ahead now, and Big News is even more ahead. Not in terms of total gold, but in terms of lane-to-lane matchup. Atacon has spawned 2 minutes on this next Drake. Will be sole point for Newsroom if they're able to take it. Chemtech Sol is quite good this game because realistically, the only way that Safari can find ins here is by finding picks, and Chemtech Sol under half is going to make you more tanky and harder to take down. Which,
Cora just gonna get a solo kill into Glove Toughest weapon. I mean, when your Darius can't even stay in lane, that's where things get stare. But now Shannon Cristolero is gonna land on a Fenbach, and now they have so much combos coming out over the top, but the headbutt going to prevent Big News. The bullet time not going to be landing too much, and Killer Fox is going to be left out for the Wolves as Monkey Safari. They do get a winning play somewhere on the map. They're going to be getting that 2-0 trade over on the bot side, but Cora is starting to pressure that top tier 3. We'll get the top tier 2. So at the end of the day, this dragon spawning in a minute. They get a fight from Monkey Safari, but they don't get anything else. And now Batman looking for nanites. Flash is going to be there. And unfortunately, not going to land that Glacial Prison, but that's a big summoner that's going to be out of the way for this next dragon spawn.
I mean, that's no flash against an Azir. Sure, Empress Divide is not up right now, but Cora does have flash herself. Atacon being started up by Cora. Big News will join. We were talking a bit earlier about how kills and CS and the impact between the two. TP in from Fenbach as Herald has been spawned in mid lane. Bit of a split fight right now from Newsroom as Atacon is being fought over and mid tower as well. Not fought over, taken.
Yeah, but right now the fight is going to start coming through. Fenbach still spitting kind of in the middle of everyone. Not going to lose too much health even for it. As now Frost could be on the wrong side. Public execution going to land. Frost is going to be the target. Core XTC going to dodge away the scout of the week. Mac Minutes kind of in the wrong spot. Just Cooper going to be next to fall. And now Cora knocking in Frost into the team. And Fenbach, Killer Fox, Big News, the entire team just trying to deal damage. Noxious Guillotine will be able to take down Fenbach, but it's an ace for Monkey's Newsroom. And they're up almost 10k gold with this tier 2. They will be. They're gonna get the tier 2. They're gonna get the dragon. They might even look for the tier 3. And it's just an absolute stomp right now from the Newsroom.
And it's things like the fight just before around, I mean, the dragon that hadn't spawned yet that make this gold lead for Monkey's Newsroom. It's not just that fight. It's not just this Herald. It's not just the Atacon before. Like I said, we were talking about, or you were talking about, how kills and CS and the difference between them and the value. Earlier in that fight, earlier in this game, sorry, on the dragon, at that fight, you find a kill on Killer Fox and a Fenbach, right? Not a shutdown, not crucial members, right? It's a 7k shutdown, it's a 1,000 gold bounty if you kill Cora. But in the time, Cora finds a kill in top and the tower and multiple waves. Right? You're losing those waves, right? That's farm you're not getting, the Cora is getting. In mid lane, multiple waves died to the tier 2 tower in mid. That's more gold you're losing, right? The whole time, Monkey's Newsroom is farming, you aren't, and the members that you kill aren't that necessary, like they're not that valuable. There's no shutdowns, and it's still like, when the team fight comes around, no Flash Now Frost, no Flash Now Nights before. Again, caught on a ward. This time it's Frost caught on a ward in that mid-brush. It's just, what are you fighting for in these fights? When the fights matter, Monkey's Newsroom are grouped up. They have such an amazing comp. And I don't love to be a doomer in games, but 10k down against Azir as Darius, Alistar. Alistar's 6 levels down with, what is that, Trailblazer? That's armor, isn't it? You die in about 2 autos to Cora. There is very little chance here as Cora
Frost.
finds
Yeah,
another
Korga's
solo.
gonna get the kill.
What do you even do here for Safari?
And that was your member who was the most fed, and now Just Cooper going to be next on the chopping block. Another shattering strike, and big news is unstoppable. And right now, it just seems like the goal lead is too big. They're just doing whatever they want on the side of Monkey's Newsroom, and now they're going to have the crash down. They're going to have the Magnet Storm. Glove Thomas Wobble still surviving. Mac Middens is going to go down. Killer Fox will be slowed underneath the turret and will go down as now Cora looking for nanites, will be able to find it, and big news is now dominating. That's another 4 down on the side of Monkey Safari if we include Frost, and they're just looking to end the game. It's 25 minutes. Glove Thomas Wobble not going to be able to get the pullback, not going to get the apprehend, will go down. Frost is alive, but Unleashed Power is not there, and melee range bullet time just for style points coming out from big news, and that's it. Monkey's Newsroom, they're going to get the 3-0. They're going to get the full sweep. Cora will go down to the smite, but now they're just going to be having fun with it. Mac Minute still trying to jump in, trying to get big news. As Batman does the chores, will take down the Nexus, and it's a 3-0 clean sweep for Monkey's Newsroom.
If you tuned in for only that game, you'd think that the Newsroom was significantly better, but Game 2 was really close. Safari looked like they could contest this team, like they could win. Game 1 had some if, ands, or buts in the mid game, but Game 3 was a, like, what was it, 25 minutes? A 0 minute to 25 minute utter domination for Newsroom. A true statement game. And it continues to baffle me because this just keeps happening where the later in Fearless, sometimes the comps just get better somehow. Yep. It's like Game 3 Fearless, Newsroom pull out one of the best comps I've seen. I don't know how they're allowed to get this. Zia had no answer, MF had no answer, and Bessa had no answer. The Ambessa is really the only one that makes sense to me to have no answer in this game because Renekton was like played last game, so it's obviously banned. Ambessa picked up. I still think there are things you can play, right? Like maybe you could go Poppy, Gwen, Rumble, like maybe those are playable champions into Ambessa, but there's like, you can't let a Zia go. Like, this is, like I said, I was talking about it before. You mentioned that I was talking about it, where you ban something the entire time on both sides. It means you can't play it and you can't play against it. But Newsroom say, actually, no. They change sides, and because they've been banning Azir, which I'd have to look if Frost plays Azir or not, but if Frost does play Azir, it's even more shocking to me to be like, oh wow, they didn't ban Azir. On our third ban, what are we going to do? It's the same thing. And then you leave open Azir first pick, take a Syndra, maybe you're comfortable in that matchup, and you go 3-0 up in kills, but I don't know, the rest of the team comp just didn't feel like, it felt like Game 1, Safari had like no real identity in their comp. Game 2, the comp was great, and then Game 3 kind of fell apart again.
Yeah, and I mean, that's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. But with that, Monkey's Newsroom, they are going to be advancing up to the semifinals. We're not sure who they're going to be facing yet, but just stay tuned to the schedule. Stay tuned to the Master Sheet. We're going to be able to see that pretty soon after, as the other games are currently ongoing as well. And one thing I do want to say before we close out, though, I want to give a shout out to Cora because we definitely called out quite a few of her mistakes in games 1 and 2. And we said Game 3, she needed to step up. And the second she did, the game became so one-sided. So definitely want to make sure that we call out the mistakes, but we also call out when someone does amazing. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, everyone on Monkey's Newsroom in that third game just played absolutely out of their mind. And with that, that's going to be incredible to go through to the semifinals with. They're going to have that momentum, and we're going to be able to see how they're going to do next week. But with that, my name is Tokibi. Jay Beto, any final thoughts?
Oh, yes. I think drafting against Monkey's Newsroom in the semis and the finals, I think things like the Azir and Big News's pool, things you have to look at. Like the Cartlet over Virus, like Cartlet over Azir, because Cora did play really well. And despite some, I will say in the first game, despite having some early game stumbles and one really bad fight, did actually like lock in. And I think that's more impressive about a player than a champ pool, to be able to completely change how you're playing and take the team fights differently. I think these two are the players that you need to look at going into semis. And for Newsroom, obviously, it's drafting around these teams. Like, just get that comp again. That was so good. Draft around Big News, draft around Cora, and they should find success. I'm keen. I'm hoping that we get to see Newsroom in semis. If we don't, maybe finals. I want to see how they do.
All right. But with that, that is it from us here at Titan Esports. Thank you all for watching. Once again, congratulations to Monkey's Newsroom. And we hope to see you next week. You all have yourselves a great night.